Welcome, everybody. This is the debut podcast of Wizards and Warriors. My name is Hadi, Friscopinball.
Joe, J Land.
We'd like to welcome you to the newest podcast here. Me and Joe have been talking recently, and we both decided that it would be cool to start a podcast focus on competitive pinball. We're going to hopefully guide you through the thrilling world of pinball tournaments, rankings, and players.
Yeah, if you're wondering what competitive pinball is all about, you're in the right place. Whether you're a seasoned player or you're just getting started, this podcast is for anyone who loves the thrill of the silver ball.
Episode, we're going to dive in latest news from the International Flipper Pinball Association, or IFPA for short. IFPA is the governing body for competitive pinball, organizing tournaments around the world and maintaining player rankings updated in real time. So you see your score start to go down. That's the decay that everybody has. They are responsible.
We'll discuss some of the most recent tournaments, breaking down the strategies and plays that led to their victory. We'll also be spotlighting some of the top players in the world, sharing their stories and tips for improving your game.
Not all about the pros. Going to also cover all the local and regional tournaments, highlighting up-and-coming players and events that you won't want to miss. Looking to get involved in competitive pinball, in the competitive pinball scene, we'll provide information, how to find tournaments near you, and what to expect when you compete.
Yep. And in addition to tournament coverage, we're going to explore the history of pinball from its roots in the 19th century to the modern machines that grace arcades and bars today. We'll discuss the design and mechanics of pinball machines, as well as the unique culture that surrounds this beloved game.
And of course, we'll have plenty of tips and tricks to help you improve your skill, climb the ranks in competitive pinball. Both of us are, I wouldn't say fairly new, but we've been around the block now. We're not as seasoned as some players. However, we have picked up some things, learned some things. We're always welcome to feedback from all the pros out there who have been doing time. From nailing your shots to mastering nudging technique, cover everything you need to know to become pinball pro. I'm not going to say wizard.
Yep. So whether you're a casual player looking to step up your game or a competitive player chasing the top spot in the rankings, this podcast is for you. Tune in as we go through in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and all the excitement of competitive pinball.
And I just want to point out in that last part, love to talk to other people, other players about competitive pinball. Are a pro out there to the scene, out to us. Love to do an interview with you, talk to you about competitive pinball, your favorite pins, what got trying to compete at the highest level. It's just a good, informal, fun time. More of you that we have on here, us to sort of put out more content. And I would love to talk to, we would love to talk to any and all of you.
Definitely.
So, in each, not week, we're going to try to do this hopefully once a month, depending on what big tournaments are there. And we'll take you on this journey. Roll the pin. Orders ready because the games are about to begin. Oh, that's cheesy. All right. Reintroducing ourselves. My name's Hadi, Friscopinball. I'm out of Frisco, Texas. Been playing competitive pinball for about 2 years now. I just hit my 50th event playing PinMasters in Arlington, Texas at Replay Arlington. My competitive goal, I'd say, I'm hoping by the end of the year, we've got some big tournaments coming. I'd really like to be top 500 by the end of 2024. My favorite tourney so far has been Indisc. It was my first time this year. Had a ton of fun. IE Pinball. Shout out to everybody that works that great event. Bob Matthews, Jim Belcito, all the help that they had with putting on a worldwide major. As far as my favorite pinball machines, got to go to Whirlwind. Classic System 11. When I was a teenager, the air blowing on my head was like the most advanced technology I could ever imagine. So that holds a near and dear place in my heart. It's a tough pin, and I absolutely. And to round out my introduction, what I love about competitive pinball, and I think a lot of you will too, brings together a lot of the most passionate enthusiasts in this great hobby. And I think I've seen some of the most amazing sportsmanship I have laid eyes on in any sport. Played sports kid, and competitive pinball I've never seen it many people get together and sort of cheer each other on as I have here.
Great. Yeah, to introduce myself, my name is Joe. I go by JLand on socials. You'll usually find me in a lot of Twitch streams. I do watch a lot of pinball online. But yeah, I've been playing competitively probably a little under 2 years now. I'm based out of Herndon, Northern Virginia, right outside district, DC. My competitive goals right now, I'd like to hit top 250 by the end of the year, and ideally find my ceiling. My favorite tourney so far, it's probably split between two that I've played in. Most recently is the Golden State Pinball Festival out in Lodi, California. That was a lot of fun. And also repping a local tournament, Pin Baltimore, up in Maryland. Just a really good time. They do a really good job of balancing, fun, casual environment with some competitive pinball on the side as well. My favorite pinball machine, it's got to be Iron Maiden.
So good.
It's I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which machine I really wanted to buy, and that kind of landed at the top. And thankfully, I was able to purchase one last year. So I've been pretty much playing it every day since I got it. It's like my home gym, if you will. And what I love about competitive pinball is that, in my experience, at least, no other sport or competition allows new players to interact with and play against the best just so quickly. The interactions are mostly positive and just unlike anything else I've ever been a part of. So it's really been keeping me coming back for more. Yeah.
That's awesome. So is Maiden your favorite Elwyn then? I would assume because
It is. It's just so good. It's like it's got everything. It's got all the shots. It's super difficult to kind of master. But it just keeps me coming back for more. So
do you start with the default mode when you're playing, or do you try to change it? Does it start on Fear of the Dark?
It's I think it's I don't usually start for modes. I think I do like to hit the revive spinner just to get my outlanes lit pretty early. But yeah, I usually just grind out modes. I'm not really prioritizing which mode to start with.
What's the most amount of treasures you've got?
Oh my gosh. I maybe like 4 or 5.
Okay.
I've only battled the beast once, and I got him down to like I think it was 6 health, and it was a pretty frustrating drain. But oh my gosh, it was such a rush.
Yeah.
Like just to get to that part, like I was just so, it's very exhilarating.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of competitive players out there that love. My first introduction to it was virtual version. Realized how good it was. Obviously, shout out to Keith Elwyn turning Archer into the beauty that is Iron Maiden. If you've ever played a Keith Elwyn pin, you're in for time. Got two of them. Godzilla and AIQ. And I was just playing AIQ today. So something about the way the modes are set up that him and his coding team do at start. So, with that said, let's get into sort of what we're going to be doing here on this podcast. We're going to be, as much as we can, reviewing footage and giving you results of tournaments that we've recently watched or learned about. We're not going to get to everything. Our goal initially was to do an in-depth review of IFPA 19. However, we both have had tournaments and got a little busy, and there are some other ones that have come to pass, such as Yegpin, the Northern Kentucky Open. Shout out Eric. So what we're going to do is sort of look at some of the footage, and then from there we'll talk about the big ones, our IFPA and Yegpin, but we're also going to review just the results of some of the other regional ones that we've seen. If you have a tournament that you'd like us to talk about, some notes about it if you want, because sometimes not every tournament will have Twitch footage, YouTube footage. So feel free to send in any audio, video, and we'll do our best to get it on the show. So before we do that, just a preview of episode 2. We're both going to Pinburgh and the Beast. So hopefully sometime after that, because we'll both have firsthand accounts, get to talk about those, show you some of the footage, and fingers crossed, both of us do very well and maybe come back with some hardware, some cash. So I'm looking forward to that. Pinburgh's back. We were both F5ing on registration day. You weren't at the previous Pinburghs? I wasn't either. So
No, this will be my first time.
yeah, I watched some of the footage of it. It looks like an absolute amazing time. I know it's baby's first Pinburgh now. It's a lot smaller, but I have no doubt that if it sort of continues to go back to the older format with different regions, it's going to be just as, especially if it can attract a lot of the top players, expand the field, and offer those. So, with that said, we're going to go into our first review and highlight of a tournament that happened around the same time as IFPA 18. Here we are. We have the wonderful, wonderful winners of the NWPAS Northwest Pinball and Arcade Show. And as you can see, the ladies swept. Twitch regular and amazing player Leslie Ruckman, El Rucko, if you will. She won the main open champion. She was the first female winner since the show opened and took down 117.37 whoppers. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big W.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's over half my total whoppers right now. So congratulations to Leslie. Andrew McCann came in second, but you can sort of see the ranks there on the screen. I do want to point out that this will be an audio and video podcast. So we'll try to do our best when we are looking at something on the podcast to sort of play-by-play give you an account of what we're talking about. So right now we're looking at results of the NWPAS, the main open. Matthew Talley came in third. Matthew from the Bay Area, I believe. I think he was a TD at Indisc this year. Really nice guy.
TD or Tech, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
And you'll always see him on the Lynn's Arcade Twitch stream. And then Dustin Goldbar in fourth. Shout out Robert, I hope I say his last name right, Godno, coming in fifth. There's a great film about him getting into pinball that came out years back. I think it's called Special When Lit. I would definitely check that out as well. But you can see the rankings there, who came out on top. Again, congratulations, Leslie El Rocco, pulling in the triple digits. No slouch to Andrew McCann, 104.49. That's a big win. So let's go back to this picture because I want to make sure we shout out all the people that are in this picture because it was a ladies sweep. It was an absolute ladies sweep. Hot nudges.
Very impressive.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it was really cool. Hot Nudge's own Jane Verwis, the B Division Open winner. Another notch on her belt for bringing home some hardware and some whoppers, especially a B Division. And this was a big tournament. This was not a small one. So as you can tell by already the points given. So she definitely pulled from there. And then Jackie Olson won the Classics. Congrats to her. I saw her in Captain Zanzibar streams, gave her congrats, and we're happy about coming home with a pretty cool trophy. This picture is pretty awesome.
Jackie's awesome. Yeah, I got to actually play. So she hosts a weekly, I believe it's a weekly tournament at a bar called Gestalt in SF.
Oh, okay.
And I got to play in a tournament there when I went to visit back in May, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, shout out Jackie.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's the great thing about also competitive pinball is you sort of make a small hobby as it is, but it makes it a little more cozy, and you start seeing the same players, which is cool. I haven't met too many egos yet. Fingers crossed that it keeps it. So it's been a lot of fun. And then the women's winner, Anna Wolk, came out with her own championship trophy, and that picture is just pretty awesome.
Yeah, very dope.
For the ladies to sweep everything, super cool. Congrats to you all, and I'm sure you will have much, much more success in the future. But that was NWPAS, and that was on June 9th. So the same weekend as IFPA 19, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was the same weekend.
All right. And so the week before that, there was a tournament held in Rochester Pinball Collective. Shout out to Slam Tilt Podcast, Ron, and oh my goodness, I'm going to forget his name. It's going to kill me. But let me just look it up real quick.
Yeah.
His co-host.
Rochester also the location of Nationals next year.
Is it?
That Rochester Pinball Collective, yeah.
That is awesome. Bruce. I think it's Bruce, yes. I apologize. I listened to you guys, and for some reason I just blanked there. But anyways, the Rochester Pinball Collective had their STOMP, and I have been listening to them talk about this. They moved into a new spot. I think they expanded their space to the next space over at the RPC. And also shout out to Zach and Bruce for taking care of the machine so well. Their podcast, please go check them out. You can find it on Spotify and all your podcasting sources. They have some great knowledge about fixing pins and tech issues. I love hearing it because I am not very tech savvy, so it's nice to hear things and learn things. But they had their big STOMP main event, and here were your winners there. Go through those.
Nice. Yeah, let me see. Let's see. Jerry Bernard took first, looks like.
Yeah, 96.82. That's freaking awesome.
Big win, yeah. Jerry, I played with him a few times up in Delaware. Super nice guys. I think known for being a pro at kind of classic games, but obviously, pretty well-rounded. Looks like Bob Swan Jr. got second.
His ranking. Look at Bob's 15.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I
almost 1,600 ranked.
Yeah, I love seeing a 4-digit ranked player like in the top because it just goes to show, lightning can strike anywhere.
Oh yeah.
As you get better, you're gonna start climbing those ranks.
Those are the names you got to look out for. It's right. Like, oh man, this guy's either punching above his weight or he's just crushing. So
exactly.
Andy Cushman took third, 595. With the 62 whoppers, and then Matthew Carlson rounding out the top four. Yeah, great job to those guys.
Yeah, and look, you got some names there. I see Jeff Teolis, ranked 49th, came in 9th there, 27 whoppers. Don't know if that'll make his card, but I forgot how it kind of works with the guys in the top 50. I think they average. Be interesting to see what they average. We can make that a segment. See like what everybody's averaging.
Oh yeah.
But really, really cool event. They did stream it, and I watched a little bit of it. Like I said, as we get into more of a cadence here and please send in any and all footage. We'll try to get to it and watch it and give our take. So when we do review footage, what we'll kind of do is look at some of the games, talk about the pins themselves, our strategy, things we've learned if we pick up anything, which we will. We're always eager to learn. Congrats to the STOMP winners again. Rochester Pinball Collective held on June 2nd. And yeah, that was a nice little regional tournament for the Northeast. So we move on to
very cool
PinMasters, the southwestern feeder into the PinMasters in my stomping grounds, and that is Free Play Arlington. And it was a pin golf event, obviously, PinMasters. Never played pin golf. Have you done a few pin golfs?
Just a couple small local pin golfs. I think I've only done actually one or two. But they're usually pretty fun. I think it's been a mix of objective based and score based pin golf. I haven't done really just a pure score based.
Yeah, that's what this one was. And I don't know what I like better. I've done a couple. Objective based is, I guess, more unique because they're locking some sort of mode or goal behind getting it set up. Like, hey, start Soul Jam on Avengers. That means you get through, collect your Avengers and assemble them, and then hopefully hit it into the disc or wherever you have to on the Pro. So I think I might prefer goal based. I don't know, score based. This one was tough. So at Arlington,
this is one you played in, right?
Yeah, this is the one I played in. I got cutoff was 32. I was like 39th by 6 strokes. So I was not ready. It was 3-ball pin golf. And I will tell you right now, if you are running a pin golf tournament, please set it to 5-ball. It is very hard when everything's already tight on tilts. Rubbers are removed, center posts are removed. It's very hard to get into a groove, especially when there are 100 plus people, cramped area. It's tough to get in a groove, but here's what I'll say. I can't make any excuse. Played how I played. I could have played better. However, it was a good sort of reintroduction since I haven't competed in a couple months to get back into it as we prepare for the summer of. There were a lot of tough machines. They did have, shout out to Turner Pinball. They brought Ninja Eclipse for the tournament.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really have to say that is a winner of a pin for a new boutique one. I know you've seen some of the footage, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I was watching, I think, some of the finals as they were taking place, and it looked very tough.
Yeah, Ninja Eclipse is tough. It's got some really cool mechs. The pin held up well over the week. I am super happy for them and the feedback that they've taken to sort of evolve it into this really solid and pinball world. Garrett and Clark and everybody else really blew it up, and it was fun to watch. So I played in this one. Garrett Shahan came out on top. He is our Texas State champ. He, just played in PinMasters at District 2 and Nationals. And played, against Escher. Came out on top in that. He has been playing super well. He is just on a tear. Like, I'm so happy that he has found, not that he hasn't found his groove, but that he's sort of on this hot streak. His roommate, Clark McCoy, came in second, another great guy. Brian Krivenak in third. Played it with Brian in PinMasters last year. He was in my group. He's just a really fun guy to play with. And Ray Ford in fourth, South Texas player. So 67 points for Garrett in the Arlington PinMasters. Again, shout out play Arlington for putting on a great event. Lewis Marks for being our Texas TD, and Try to Tell Pinball for streaming it. Kudos to you. Good time.
Very nice. Yeah, Brian's a cool guy. Actually, you mentioned Brian Krivenak. He, I believe he's actually from Virginia, so he'll make a trip, nice. I think once a year for maybe a few weeks to visit. I believe he saw his family out here, but he will play in every Virginia and DC tournament when he's here, and he will clean up. So it's
that's awesome.
Kind of funny seeing him stop by.
Brian's dad was there. I actually, what I did was, I was in a group with Brian, but his dad hadn't been called for some reason, so I kind of gave up my tee time so that him and Brian and his dad could play together. So I'm really happy that they got to play. But that's cool that he's from that area, because I've lived in the TVA, Maryland
That's
area.
Right.
Nice. Okay. So next tournament was.
What do we have next?
Lynn's Seaburgh.
Oh, okay. That was their Pinburgh satellite.
Nice. Okay, and we also have, we were talking about this earlier. The Pinburgh satellites. We've seen a couple where it's raffle winners or golden ticket winners are the person who win it, and so that happened in South Texas at the Wormhole one. Garrett, quick shout out to him, won that one.
Oh yeah,
it was between him and Wesley Johnson. So Garrett went into a tiebreaker on Terminator 3, came out on top. Wesley's already going to Pinburgh, so it kind of actually worked out where Garrett got the golden ticket. And we're going to see him at Pinburgh. For Lynn,
that's awesome. Yeah, let me go through. So Lynn Seaburgh, it looks like Zach Wallens won that tournament. Took home a nice 48.9 whoppers. Dustin Goldbar got second. Sean Campbell third, and John Tracy got fourth. And I believe John was the one who won that Pinburgh ticket.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's on his way to Pinburgh as well.
Hell yeah. Congrats to all our winners. These were some of the regional tournaments that we had just reviewing. Again, if you'd like to have your tournament on the podcast, please reach out to us through Twitch right now or Discord. We will get a email address set up, and then you can just email. But I'm Friscopinball on all the socials. You're Jland on all the.
Alien,
look
yep.
for us, and we'll take your info and hit you up if we need anything else. So, with that said, let's talk about upcoming tournaments.
Sure.
So, we have the big ones coming up, like we said.
Oh yeah.
The biggest one coming up, end of July, Pinburgh,
Pinburgh,
held
it's
at
back.
the Esports Resonine, I think it's called.
Yep.
Pinburgh's back. So that is going to be July 25th through the 27th in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. Registration obviously already happened a long time ago. Like I've learned with most of these tournaments, they happened a few months before. So now I'm always setting reminders. I missed so many because I forgot. Has that happened to you?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I put them in my calendar, and I feel like on my iPhone just doesn't remind me. I just have to manually
Right.
check. I'm just like panicking, like, oh my gosh, did I miss it?
I have like, I'm
And
like,
just hope I didn't.
I go, Siri, please set an all day reminder for this day to register for this event. And then I look, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, where'd my reminder go? So the woes of competitive pinball. So Pinburgh's back July 25th through the 27th. We hope to see many of you there if you're listening. I can't wait to give it a shot. There's a Wednesday, like Bash at the Berg, I
We'll
think.
warm up. So the Bash of the Berg, I believe, is their kind of pump and dump tournament, the side tournament that's going on. But there is a warm up tournament on Wednesday.
Okay.
It's the only opportunity for players
That's
to
what
practice.
it was. Yes, that's right. And that's the thing I was going to remind everybody is there is a tournament there that's going to give you some practice on pins. So if you do have a chance to go early, try to go for that tournament at the very least before the big one starts. So after that, what do we have?
Yep. The weekend right after that is the Beast.
Yeah, the Beast. So shout out Jeff Teolis, Pinball Profile in Buffalo, New York, August 1st through the 4th.
Yep.
Is at Pocketeer Billiards. Did you do that last year?
I did. So last year was the inaugural Beast tournament. I think it was capped at like maybe 100 players or so.
Okay.
Had to kind of test it out, make sure it was test the waters a little bit. But it was really well done. The techs there were super on it. And Jeff Teolis really knows how to run a tournament. He had a lot of great prizes. And everything was run like clockwork. All of the volunteers did a great job with scorekeeping, and it's right there on the border, like right next to what is it, Niagara Falls. So there were a lot of Canadian players there too.
Oh hell yeah!
That I expect to be there this year as well. So a lot of good representation. I know a lot of the under 25s are going to be there this year. So. It's going to be a very loaded, player field, but makes it even, more exciting and to know that you're playing against the best. So
listen, you young whippersnappers, I'm tired of you. As Dalton said, or as I say to Dalton, down with the youth. So check out the Beast, Jeff Teolis's baby. If it's anything like the way he does everything else on pinball career, it's going to be amazing, super awesome. I can't wait. My birthday's in that area. It's August 7th, so that's my birthday gift. So
there you go.
I'm excited to play, and I can't wait to see everybody there. It's just the start. These are just the first two big events. You've also got California Extreme happening the same weekend as Pinburgh from the 26th to the 28th, Santa Clara, California. And then a tournament that I've gone to the last 2-3 years, maybe, the Hangar Pinball Route 66 Tilt Champion in Tulsa, Oklahoma, July 31st, August 4th. Shout out to the Hangar Pinball crew, Mike, Chris, Teddy, all Brandon, all you guys and gals, through a really, really nice tournament at Magoo's in Tulsa. They have 6 tournaments this year, I think, including side tournaments, and I'm really happy excuse me to see you guys continuing with that. If you do get a chance to go down, I think a lot of them are already full, but if any spots in the tournament open up, please go check out Magoo's. You can catch them on Hanger Pinball on Twitch. It's a well-run regional event for us local people in Texas. The drive isn't too bad. Finally, we have some stuff near us. I'm so sick of having to fly everywhere, but it's super cool. And so another
cool.
big regional one after that. But then we've got something happening in Schaumburg in early September. What is that?
Oh, we're talking about Papa.
Yeah, the return.
Another one that's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. They recently announced a second pinball machine is going to be raffled off.
Yes, from JJP.
Thanks to Jersey Jack. So that's going to be really cool to win 2 pinball machines from a raffle.
And I can't wait to see it. Again, this is going to take on sort of an elevated meaning as far as tournaments. This is a charity, a pinball event for the late great Lyman Sheets. Penny Epstein and Andy Bagwell have come up with this, and it's a great way to honor one of everybody's favorite coders. He made my favorite code on a pin, which is The Walking Dead. Gone too soon, but if you do get a chance, I don't know if it's capped. I know it's a pump and dump, right? I think, no, it's card.
Talking about Papa? It's card based.
It's card based. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. So it's card based, but unlimited cards, basically.
Unlimited card. Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to have that. They're going to have a classics, and I believe they have a women's as well. I'd be wrong.
That sounds right.
Yeah. But they have, again, like Joe said, they're raffling off a JJP, but they're also raffling off the new in-box turns. So just by going and playing, not only do you get to support a great cause to help fund suicide awareness, but you're going to get to play against some of the best, one of the best cities for pinball, the home of many manufacturers, Chicago. So head out to the Interium for Papa 21, September 5th through the 8th. And then in late September, you have the UK Open. Shout out Neil McRae, Domino Pinball. But those are some of the big ones that are coming up. Obviously after the Beast, we'll do another episode and talk about what's upcoming. Yep. Well, that may have popped up on the calendar, or that coming further later on in the fall. Obviously, Northwest Pinball Championships as well. So yeah, so those are the upcoming tournaments. Excuse me.
Oh, I think one more. I think we kind of skipped over the Silver Ball Super Social.
Oh yes,
that's Andy's thing. Also at Interium this summer. If you want even more Chicago pinball action.
Yes, August 9th through the 11th, right?
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, so you make it to any of them. I would recommend trying to get to the Papa 21 one. It's for a good cause. It's going to be great to see everybody there. Basically, month before Expo starts, 40th anniversary of Expo. Hope to see everybody there.
Yep.
I'm going to 4. I'm going to Pinburg, the Beast, Papa, and then the UK Open. Are you going to those? Oh, are you going to?
I'll be seeing you at 3 of those. I will not be going to the UK Open, but it sounds like it'll be a blast.
Yeah, I just got my passport finally in
nice
last 20 years, and I was like, oh my god, I'm official now. I can cross the country. But I actually needed it for the Beast. I'm going to be driving from Michigan to Rochester. So that is our preview of the upcoming tournaments. Again, welcome to the Wizards and Warriors podcast. We're going to try to figure out what works here and what doesn't, but we want to make sure we highlight everything that's upcoming, stuff that's already happened. So now the fun part. So now we can go review some of the stuff that we've seen as far as the big tournament.
Good.
That is, we're going to go here, and we're going to talk about IFPA 19. So
yeah,
that was hands down one of the funnest one of the most fun tournaments I have watched in a long time. There were some, it did take a while for some of it to sort of kind of get going as far as the finals. And I know there's been some discussion about what is going to be acceptable as far as delayed times and stuff. However, the level of competition at IFPA 19, absolutely. To start it off, don't have the footage here of it, but Team Europe beat Team USA in the Epstein Cup in an amazing close match. It came down basically to the last game. It's never been that close as far as score. But shout out to Team Europe. So in the finals, you had Jason Zoller versus Arvid Flager. I hope I said that name right. They put on a absolute banger, a classic. See some of the footage here. We have Arvid and Jason starting off on Centaur. As far as Centaur is concerned, I haven't played it too much. Have you?
A little bit. I know it's kind of you can always get some multi-balls going. But I believe they were all kind of going for the captive ball on the left to get a bunch of points.
Gotcha.
Was the multi-ball turned off on this copy?
I think there was something
a little
that
bit.
they did. Yeah, they did something with it. I wish I knew more about Centaur. Again, we were actually going to go more in depth to each match, but this one is kind of past a month or so time, so we're just going to kind of go over it. I'll make sure we got out, especially to the winner. Yet until the end, but we have we had Jason come out on top as the first match. So the way it works is they each get to pick 3 pins for their bank and alternate. So for this, Jason was but we had Andy and Tom calling the action. Jason did take the win on Centaur. So up next after Centaur was Bow and Arrow, and Bow and Arrow was a clinic by Jason. I'm going to let some of the audio play here.
To play games, the most optimal way to play these games. They will all talk about that, and they will all be aware of how to do that on these machines.
So we're watching Jason play Centaur, or excuse me, Bow and Arrow. So basically, the way I would think he was,
second place. They
I think
both
he was
spinners turned
practicing
both
and
sets of
sort
lights.
kind of letting it go here.
For
But
125.
the way
Like
it works
seating area
is
upstairs with like a
this
black
left
carpet
saucer,
arcade, and there's like
top
chairs
left
and couches
saucer.
and a big
Basically
projection screen. So
building up
where
that
you
bonus.
see kind of
yeah, try up there. Try again, Kroopy, or not the Kroopy.
Excuse me,
Try.
I'm going to lower this. The reverse of Stern's pinball. It's basically called pinball with saucers on. But build up your bonus, and then just keep spamming that saucer on the top left. So this basically came down to something that Jason is very good at, which is repetitive shots. So I know that's Kaylee's sort of trope. But have you played Bow and Arrow before?
I have.
Okay.
I think I've actually played this Jim Belceda's copy at. This was at Indisc.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never played it. Was it in Classics or in Target Match Play?
It was in the Classics Bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I put a card on this, but as we're watching the footage right now, and basically your best to get it back on the right flipper after you rip a nice shot up to the left saucer.
Right.
You have,
Or this. I think the spinners build value.
Yes.
To that saucer. So usually, I think. I can't remember if they were like ripping the spinner backhand from the left or even forehand. Either way, ripping either spinner and then catching it.
Yeah, I think that's right. You're building up through that spinner, and then there's a saucer on the top. But I think the announcers rightfully said, "Hey, you want to wait to attack the saucer until it's about 5,000 or so, because you're obviously trying to roll it, hitting it." And there were a lot of times when I was watching this match where you would rip that left side, but the saucer would reject it. And I feel like that's I don't know if that's a Jim Belcedo special or just typical of the era, but it was fun to watch because there was basically one thing you had to do. And when there's one thing you have to do, I don't know if you do it, I get in my head, okay, it's pretty easy, I got this simple thing, and then it just doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
So seeing it be attainable, obviously by the best in the world, is fun to watch. I could watch it all day, just consistent rips, and we'll get to that when we talk about Car Hop. It was an instant classic. Shout out also to IE Pinball for the footage. Thank you, Carl, for putting on an amazing stream of IFPA 19. I think if anybody has seen your stream, they know it's high quality. And shout out to Pluto for supporting pinball. And Pluto works at Twitch, and he always tries to get us some more recognition by putting pinball streams on the front page. So thank you both.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
But yeah, Jason is just playing right now. We're going to let the announcers do their thing real quick for a little bit.
Okay, Steve.
I'm going to go 6 because at the arrow's low.
Tom 6. I say 6
Oh,
too.
wow. More.
7?
You got
Maybe 7.
maybe 8. Okay, you got 7.
Now it's cash time.
Now.
Yeah, so see, they're discussing, announcers right there, if you couldn't hear it. We're discussing the strategy of when to start attacking that soft. You heard some 6s and 7s, and now we see Jason going after it, trying to get it back up. Great drop catch, but I think he was attacking also sort of with the alley pass if it was landing on the left to get it back to that right. So through this match, you saw both of them obviously doing the same strategy. Jason ended up with 222,000, which is absolutely unbelievable because
Double roll.
yeah, and you would see the scores if you're watching this throughout qualifying and throughout the playoffs. A lot of players were hitting, rolling at once and being very happy and content. But I think in the match before, Jason played this on stream, I think in some form in the playoffs. I don't know if it was semifinals or quarters, but he had like 234, 235. So it was, we were watching that and I was like, okay, that's probably going to be his best score. But no, he got close again. It's just got to be consistent. And Arvid, unfortunately, wasn't able to catch up on this bow and arrow. But, Arvid goes down 0-2. Big hole in sports playoffs. I'm sure you've seen. So the third game is coming up, and it is another nuke of a pin. Bad Girls. Have you played Bad Girls?
I don't think I've actually played Bad Girls ever.
Yeah, so I have not.
I've never seen one.
Yeah, me neither. And I know it's one of Chuck Eric's favorites. He has one, and it was at the Northern Kentucky Open recently. That happened this week. Sorry, Eric. IFPA results aren't in for it. So, but kudos to Trent Augustine for winning that. Fun to watch. Straight down the middle pinball on Twitch. SDTM Pinball. Make sure you check them out. But Bad Girls was there, and I know there's something with re-racking the balls on the left, but it's a multi-ball heavy. I want to say it's a multi-ball heavy pin. I feel like a lot of players were going. I know there's a multiplier on the right. Again, with this podcast, we're going to be trying to learn along with you. They're just pins we haven't seen before. And this one with Bad Girls, Jason came out on top. So he goes up 3-0 on Arvid, and it's best of
7, right? Or sorry, first of 4.
First of 4, yes. And then you play 3 after that, best of 3. So first of 2, basically. So so Arvid is down 0-3. I have not been in that situation where you're so far down that you need to pull a clutch. Lakers down 3-1 against the Warriors. Have you in pinball?
Oh my gosh. Not that I can think of. I mean, especially not at this scale, right? Like literally the biggest tournament.
Right? So you're thinking, okay, Jason's just got to win one of the next 3 to take home his first major, first world championship. Then, lo and behold, Arvid starts slowly making his comeback. Start with car hop, which one of the most insane matches that I've seen. I apologize, I don't have the footage. I think on this one, let me see. But the way that it works on car hop, there is a spinner that gets activated at the top of the playfield, right?
Yeah, there's a drop target on the top right.
What's this going?
I believe you have to shoot the center kind of to hit a left inlane switch, and then shooting the right drop target will kind of activate that spinner for maximum value.
Yeah, so game 4, Arvid's got to come back, and he's got to pull off. It was like 93 million, 96 million or something.
I want to say it was like 98. It was just short of the GC, and I think there was like a joke that was like, all you have to do is GC the machine.
That's right.
And you win.
Yeah, and so Arvid is closing in on ball 3, and what he's doing also during the match is you have to hit the right drop, and then the spinner will light, and then you've got to rip it. And if it goes down, you got to hit the drop target on the sort of like a loop. But what he's got to do there is catch up and build that spinner up because it keeps building in value. 10,000. Then eventually gets to a certain absurd amount. Why you see 93 million score 96 on Car Hop. Sales of Car Hop increase steadily as we after IFPA 19. But the crazy thing is, this is ball 3, and he's got to achieve this insane score. And like the pro that he is, still a young kid, he comes back and he does it on game 4, down 0-3, down millions and millions of points. And he just comes back with this insane ball 3. It was amazing to watch.
Ice in his veins.
Yeah, ice in his veins. Just go check it out on IE Pinball, YouTube and Twitch. I had the footage, I apologize, but it looks like it sort of got corrupted here. Watching right now, Jason Godzilla, and we'll get to that in a second. So the next game up was Ripley's. This had been Arvid's pick throughout IFPA 19. Pro at it. Wins that one. So, down 0-3. Now down 3-2. He's got to win the next game to force the playoff. What is that game? It's Tron. Tron can go one way or the other. For Arvid, it's his way.
Yep.
And what is it?
Something I just remembered from that Ripley's game is there was a plunge he had that I think didn't validate the playfield.
That's right. Yeah.
But like he kind of like took a breath, it was like, oh, is it over? And the ball goes back into the shooter lane. He's like, okay, we're back, like
the old
and then
invalidation.
Excuse me. And he fully takes advantage and wins that game.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about stuff from a month ago, but there are moments when, and I think we saw this. I saw this at another tournament we're going to talk about, Yegpin. Where at times where a player doesn't hit a switch, and sometimes you just have to. It's almost like when they tell you don't ever walk away until you see your bonus count up. Lazarus, you could have a ball save you don't realize. Same thing. Wait, wait until. Don't plunge right away because you could plunge somebody else's ball. I've done that. Have you done that?
I haven't yet, but I'm knock on wood for that. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, I did it at D82 on Fireball. Thank God that's gone because I was in the middle of a multi-ball and then one drained, but the game thought it just didn't realize I was in multi-ball. So, fun times. Like, it's one of those things. But yeah, so Arvid comes back on Tron. It's now 3-3. You've asked for, can someone come down from 0-3 to win the whole thing? Edmonton Oilers, you failed us. Can Arvid do it? And the first game up is Scared Stiff. Scared Stiff is one game that's just basically, there's a little bit of strategy in the sense of, you want to make sure you hit your spider. You want to get your multi-ball set up, get your locks, which is left ramp out, right? I believe
it's a left ramp and then left orbit to lock.
That's it. Okay, you only have to hit it once
for that
a few
multi-ball.
times. Yeah.
For the first one, I think after that it goes up incrementally.
Gotcha, that's right. So it's left ramp, then hit the left orbit, get the 2 locks, but then get your spider's web gift. And I know there are people that you got to start with the multi-ball extent. So that way, if you do flame out on your multi-ball, and then some people also will start the double scoring. And so there was a point in Scared Stiff, and like the Terminator he is, Jason just puts up an amazing score on it. 19 million to 11 million on ball 3.
Oh yeah.
And 19 million is a really good score, especially on a Jim Belcito special version of Scared Stiff. And there was a point where Arvid, I think, had a choose. I think people were telling him, hey, take double scoring or take this. And he was going with the normal strategy of ramping out on the multi. So he was trying to come back with that. Fortunately, on his last few shots, on the last shot, he missed high, and it sort of had an unfortunate drain. But that was, even though the score doesn't show it initially, that was closer than you would expect. So
Yeah.
we're watching right now footage of Jason on the last game. So Jason takes game 1 of the playoff, sudden death playoff. So we go to Godzilla. In Godzilla, Jason had a bad experience at PinMasters Internationals on it because he short plunged on D82's version, and there's no ball save. So if you short plunge,
Right.
there's a high probability, and I'm sure you've seen it, that the ball will bounce off the right plastic, right sling, the top of it, post, and then just go into the outlane. Ball save, even, and that's a skill shot. Like, you can short plunge, supposed to get ball save, but ball save's turned off. And so here he is on Godzilla, and his ball 1 is absolutely. We're watching it now, and by the time he's done, he has, go to the footage, and I'll let the audio sort of play here.
I've never seen anybody get past the stage. So,
On the fly, yes.
and we're about to
Boom.
see it. I can't wait to see what happens next. He needs a right spinner now, which won't time out.
There,
Okay,
Super
now
15
what?
million.
15.
And now
Dalton
side
and
loop
Andy on
and
the
left
mic.
spinner.
Oh my gosh. All right.
He's closing in on 500 million.
Yep.
Tank attack.
multi-ball it, as
Bump it to
Dolphin
tank
said.
attack.
Yep.
He's got 2 multi-balls ready right now. He can just pick which one he wants.
And this is ball 1. Got so many things
Oh,
done
look
through
out.
your first
There
sing.
it
And
is.
there's
Great
the drain.
ball.
He says,
And
"You
the
know what,
people
I'm
go
good." And he
crazy.
ends up
Everyone's
with
clapping. Even Arvid is
517 million
clapping.
on ball 1. So on a tough
And-
version,
I mean,
of Godzilla already, it's already daunting for Arvid to try and come back. And unfortunately, by the time we get to ball 3, Jason's already over $1 billion. And you know what? He pulls it out. Did you watch any of the end of this, or just the sudden death finals? Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I was watching this. I mean, I think when I'd seen that Godzilla's picked. I mean, obviously everyone I think at that level knows how to play Godzilla really well. But I just
right.
know from seeing Jason just blow up, got the Godzilla over in Delaware. I know he's just very comfortable in that game, and that was kind of the game where I was like, okay, I think he's going to kind of take control of this match and kind of seal the deal here. So it was not surprising, but still impressive that he did it. You know?
Yeah. You know, big congrats to all the winners at IFPA. It was not an easy tournament, you know, getting through the qualifying, getting through the playoffs. Yeah, your runner up, Arvid, pulled out an almost amazing comeback. The whoppers were absurd. Your top
Insane.
4 were Jason Zoller, Arvid Flagare, Johannes Terminator Ostermeyer, Escher Left. Jason takes home 393. Well deserved. Maintains
The
his
largest haul ever
Is
in
it?
a single tournament.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is crazy. Yeah, and I thought Indisc was super big. I was like, oh, I wonder how big this is. Yeah, this was pretty big. And so, as we see here in the footage, I'm going to let this play. Jason takes home his first World Championship and mate. So he gets the key, the box. Oh yeah, Pinmug stuff.
Spike 3.
And then we're watching Jason right here.
look at that trophy.
I think there's more to come for us. Jason's
Yeah, congratulations.
He's all pumped up.
Nice job, Jason.
Just a great player to watch.
Look at that.
So proud.
Yeah.
Look at
Congrats to him.
that.
His dad, Steve,
Yeah.
is awesome.
Jason, hold it up at the camera. Yeah, look at that.
But kudos to Jason Zoller, and again, IE Pinball for putting on, and Jim Belcito for hosting. It was great to watch. Hope that people go rewatch it if they want to learn some strategies on all the pins we mentioned and many more. I would definitely, if I see one of these pins in a bank, the upcoming tournament, I'm watching this because I want to know
Oh yeah.
exactly what was done. Overall thoughts. Last to sort of take in level of
Yeah, it's pinball at the highest level. Really, really impressive to watch all of those players there. And like you said, I mean, there's
Oh, yeah.
tutorials and like, you know,
Oh!
kind of strategies online of like how to play certain games, but it kind of changes when you actually step up to the machine in a tournament setting. So seeing how, you know, these high level players approach games like this, it's really something else, you know.
And segue into our second review. Big. You have Yegpin. Yegpin just happened. What did we call it? The weekend of Luke.
Oh yeah.
Um, we're gonna go talk about Yegpin now. So there were 4 big tournaments. We had the Open, Best Card, Charity Classics, the women, right?
Yes.
Okay, so start off with the main, main match play championship, and let me pull that up for us right here.
Oh,
Go on,
yeah.
come on.
No, not.
No!
And so in this main match play championship, we've got footage going on. Thank you, Gamer TV on Twitch, for the footage. Please, twitch.tv/geek, I believe, is the address. Make sure you go check them out. Posting Yegpin footage and consume. So, the way this was set up, same sort of qualifying. Normally, Yegpin notoriously brutal. Last year they had precision flippers on many pins. This year, lightning flippers on almost everything. But
Oh yeah.
really well run. A huge Whopper opportunity, not just for everybody going, but for the locals too in Canada. This is Canada's probably
Mhm.
biggest tournament.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and we want to, again, previewed it by saying it was the weekend of Luke, and there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah.
So in this tournament, we had Johnny Modica, Luke Nahorniak, Conrad Rostad, we don't know game, Conrad, and Andrew Lee. Johnny was the number 1 seed, 3rd seed, Conrad the 12th seed, 4th seed. Johnny chose the bank as the 1st seed. Started off with volley. Footage right now is, it's on Joker Poker. This was the 3rd game. After the first 2 games, excuse me, Conrad was in first with 4 points. Papa Style scoring 4-2-1-0. They started off with volley.
Okay.
Andrew took first, 137,000 points. I watched Luke's game. He needed one more drop. He had all the colors lit. So in volley, the way it works is hit the rollover lanes to light a drop target bank, which are on the left, center, and right on the lower play field, lower part of the play field. He had all of them lit, and he had the out lanes lit for 5,000. Shoots a ball to kind of get another drop, and it careens into the left and gives him 5,000 for 132, close to it. And if it just had come back in, he would have had a chance to. That's why it was so close.
Man.
Go watch $5 volley on Fox Cities Pinball. So after volley, Andrew was in first, and after Twilight Zone, Conrad was in. Took that with 234.
Nice.
So after 2, it was Conrad. Luke and Andrew tied at 3. Johnny Modica. Johnny unfortunately took 25,000 points on volley in the first game. That's tough.
That's hard, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
That happens.
Yeah, you can get house balled. You can just get, especially in volley when it's sort of coming out, right? And it has a 50-50 chance of going out lane or to your in lane. And more often than not, it just goes to the end. We're watching footage of Joker Poker right now for Yegpin. Joker Poker, you played this one before?
I have. It's a fun game. So 5 balls. At the very bottom, you can see that white light. It lights one card. I think it starts with a 10. So after you hit that 10 drop target on the left, it gives you 5x bonus for that ball.
Okay.
So then after that, you're just kind of hitting, I believe it's the drops to increase your bonus value. And then each ball after that, so the next ball would be the 2, I believe it's the 2 jacks. So then you hit the 2 jack targets, that will give you a 5x bonus. And then the 3 queens, which is at the top. 4 kings on the right, which is kind of one of the harder ones, and then the 5 aces at the top is the last ball. So you want to prioritize getting that 5x lit, and then just kind of go to town on the drops after that. Oh, Hadi, I think can I hear you? Hello?
Test. There we go.
There we go. Yep,
Sorry, this cable's a little loose.
it's all good.
Yeah, and so I was gonna say, is it 5-ball or 3-ball?
It should be 5-ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're watching footage here. Looks like you can sort of see the scores. I'm gonna let the footage play. Let our announcers do some announcing. Conrad's up.
5,000 now. Oh, nice nudge to get it out of trouble.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
Shots up the middle.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get it.
Those 2 A's are real. Okay.
No. Good job.
Good
Good job. Get
save,
it back.
Conrad. So we're watching Conrad play
Nice take.
Where's
yeah,
this
Joker
landing?
poker.
Oh,
Right
okay.
flipper. You can hit it.
And you got Jeff Teolis and Steve Powder on the mic.
Nice.
Bang. Whap.
Yeah, it's tough.
And you want to keep it up
Tough
there
angle.
too, sort of.
All right,
Yeah,
got
so I think I
one
was
and
I was just pulling up
5,000.
the Bob Matthews guide.
Oh, just
Another strategy is aces all day. But yeah, really the priority is just getting the 5x bonus.
Gotcha.
And
So
after that, it just drops.
basically, come down to the last ball. I'll let this play because it's Luke Nahorniak. He is tied for second through 2 games, so he needs to come back and beat 136,000.
Another queens are up there.
Get the queen. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, he has the
gets
aces.
it off
That's
the carom.
25,000, and
Do
that
not
is
tilt.
a win if he
Oh, no
does not
kidding.
tilt. If he has done the math, he will not tilt,
Wait,
and he'll be
yeah.
fine because that's 25,000.
I love hearing
he
Steve
cleared the
commentate.
queens.
He's so good.
Oh my
He
god.
looks, yeah, he
His
just looked
Yeah,
his
at-
game
yeah.
knowledge,
Fine.
Luke's gonna go to
enthusiasm,
play.
everything is just
Get
unparalleled.
Yeah.
5,000. Yeah, didn't
Yeah,
even try
what
to
a
effort
ball.
that. What a ball.
What a
by
ball.
Luke.
Luke will go to 6. Johnny will go to 4. Andrew will go to 4. Conrad 4. Luke with the hammer right now.
So after 3,
very cool.
Luke with 6, and then you've got a tie for second. Everybody has 4, and so the next game in the bank is Monster Bash.
Oh my gosh.
With Monster Bash, no 2 big multi-balls, obviously. Frankenstein or Monster Mash, it's called, up the center 6 times.
Mhm.
What do you do? I was thinking about this because this was at PinMasters.
Yeah.
I want to sort of prep a mode and then bash Frank. I know
Yep.
a lot of people also go bride because if you get those ramp shots dialed in, it's like super big points.
Oh yeah. You can get like I want to say it's like over 1 million a ramp if you can start comboing them really well. I mean the orbits are good too, the Wolfman. Something similar, the orbits just score incrementally more points. But I've definitely lost to someone just ramping out on me before in this game. It's tough.
Yeah, the target score at PinMasters was like 35 million. I think I got like 23, and I just hit 1 Frank, and I was, oh man. And the funny thing about this copy of Monster Bash that they changed for the finals, Andrew Foster, I believe that's his name. I think his initials are fun enough, Pup. That's how I remember it.
Yes.
In the shirt. But he was just hitting that creature shot, and him and Robert Gagno, because it was giving a safe feed back to the right flipper every time.
Creech all day.
Yeah. So
I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah. So got a copy near you. Test out that creature shot and see if it gives you safe feedback to the right flip.
I've seen Jason Zoller do that on the copy at Delaware, I think to the tune of like 200 million points on one ball. But they put like a fat rubber on it after that.
Yeah, so I mean, with the strategies here, I would try to set up 1 mode at least before I go into Frank. Can you activate modes during Frank multi-ball, or
I think you have to bring them into it.
bring him? Okay, so it's like
usually.
standard rules. Okay, and then obviously, if you complete your modes, you get the first wizard, mini wizard. It is Monster Party. It's not Monsters of Rock. That's the last. But it is a really fun mode. You collect when you activate your monsters, you'll see them light glow solid on the lower part of the playfield. And then if you complete their mode, you'll earn their in. So that is the Monsters of Rock getting monsters activated, instruments. But then there's also the mosh pit, the center.
Yep.
So here, this one was a low scoring finals, but you had a Luke as player 4, I believe. Oh yeah, Luke was player 4. So after ball 1, we had a score of 14 million for Johnny and Andrew with 1.8, Conrad with 1 million, Luke with 7 million. And the reason I bring this up is because I want to show Conrad's last, because the prize money for this tournament was pretty significant. And when I get to Conrad, it is got this. So we've got to go to the next footage right here.
3
excuse
loops.
me.
Nice spinner loops there.
But I apologize. I don't have it here. I heard it. But anyways, I'll tell you what it was, regardless.
Yeah.
So the way that it worked was Conrad was on ball 3, and he had lower than Andrew. So remember, they were all tied for second. Him, Johnny, Andrew. Speaking of Conrad. And so Conrad had lower, at about 4 million or so. And Andrew had 4.9 million. And the difference between third and fourth is $4,000 to $2,000. And so, so Conrad hits, he hits Frank, and he needed like one shot. He was like 4.6 or something. He hits Frank, and then it goes to the out lane. But he knew because of that hit, he had just enough, and he ends up with 5 million, just over 5 million, which is the difference between him and Andrew. And so Andrew goes from winning 4,000 to 2,000. And look, money's money. It's a great, it pays for the trip. Even 2,000 is a lot of money. But Conrad wins an extra $2,000 because of his hit. But the great thing with this tournament was seeing Luke walk off as the winner, 43 million. Johnny Monica in second with 35. Luke wins a brand new pinball machine. Johnny Monica wins $6,000. Conrad wins
amazing
$4,000, and Andrew wins, $2,000. And so with that, the Yegpin main came to a close. What I wanted to show was the Whoppers. So what we'll do here, then we will bring up the Yegpin match play. Luke Nahorniak with 214. Johnny Monica with 193. Conrad Rustad with 181 points. Andrew Lee at 172. You see some of the other winners there. John Russell, 163 points. Player ranked 793. Darren Crywell come out with 136 points. That's going to boost his Whoppers. But it was great to see.
That'll make the card.
Yeah, big jump. So, did you watch any of the main? I believe you did, right?
I think it was bouncing around between the main and then the classics and the women's. I just had it on all weekend, I remember, but it was kind of starting to blend together a bit.
Yeah,
a lot of pinball.
It was a lot. So Luke takes home the match play championship. Then he takes home the classics. He comes in first there with the classics charity, and we'll show those results right there. Again, we previewed it by saying it was the weekend of Luke. Takes home 219 points right there. Daniele Acciari, apologize, pronunciation, takes home second with 199 points. Nick Greenan with third, 187, and Colin Urban in fourth with 177. A lot of big players there. You can see the names. Bob Matthews at eighth, 147 Whoppers. Johnny Monica picking up some more Whoppers, 131 there. Yeah. Jermaine, 11th, tied with Johnny, John Cotman, and Jack Tedman. Don't forget Andrew Foster in sixth with 161 Whoppers there. And so Luke takes another prize. Right?
Yeah, that was
Whoppers. Great. I don't know the amount that he took, but that was his second big win.
That was more Whoppers in the main, actually.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. That is just Yeah, I mean that's. I wonder, was it pump and dump or was it?
I think it was the same format, but I think there were just a few more players in the Classics tournament that may have
Okay.
boosted it a bit. But yeah, shout out to my buddy Nick. I think he was right outside like rank 300 going into that weekend, and he
Wow.
launched himself into like the hundreds after the big finish. So
Dude, that's awesome.
shout out to him, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're going to be seeing him at the Beast too. He should be
Okay,
there.
cool. Get to meet him.
Yeah.
I think he's been in my chat before. When I
Yeah,
streamed.
yeah. There you go.
So we have the win for Luke there in the Classics. We go back and we have the best card, which is sort of their, I believe, sort of their, is that like the high stakes? Or just
I'm not sure if it was a high stakes, but it was
Okay.
a card format that they had going on. Yep.
And so in this finals, we had Steve Bowden, Andrew Foster, Miles Grant, and Luke Nahorniak. So there's Luke again, the weekend of Luke.
Yep.
Game one, let me put this up. You had Steve Bowden playing Iron Man on our footage right here that you can see. So on this, Steve would come out on top with about 12 million. Luke was second with second place, Andy Foster in third, Miles in fourth. So then they go to Judge Dredd. And I want to bring up Judge Dredd because
Sorry,
do you wanna-
Demo Man.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Demo Man. Sorry. I don't know why I said they look the same.
You're
to
good.
me. Yeah. But do you want to say anything about Iron Man? I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it.
Oh yeah. I just remember this being very difficult playing. I remember there was a poll in the chat asking if the over under was going to be like 8 or 10 million, and a lot of people picked the under. Because I mean, if you look at the flippers, they're precision lightning flippers, and they're hollow as well. So they're just very different. Different flippers to use than you would normally see on an Iron Man.
you're
Which is
not
already
even-
a very difficult game.
So you're not able to trap up, basically. You're just playing.
It looks like it's it's. I think just getting to a multi-ball was like an achievement on this copy, which I mean at this level I think a lot of these guys did, but it looked very difficult to play.
Yeah, it
and,
looks crazy.
Steve put up a good score on it. So
Yep, 12 million. So we go to Demo Man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep.
So for Demo Man, interesting pin because it's got the triggers, right? So you've
The
got
triggers,
two
yep.
handles on the top, sort of like an airplane joystick, like you would play a flight sim. Then you've obviously got the regular flippers. So can you tell me, do you know about Demo Man?
a little bit, yeah. So I think the strategy that a lot of the players were going for were combos, right? Like getting
Yes.
the combos either from the loops or I think the chat pointed out while this game was being streamed is that this seems like actually a pretty relatively easy copy compared to the rest of the games in the bank. Because a lot of the times, like a reject from that center ramp or from the left ramp would actually fall to the upper flipper. So they could kind of flip it into the ACMAG, like the scoop on the right.
Yeah, that's right. I saw Andrew Foster do that. Obviously, they all did it, but it
Yep.
was if it was coming, it was like a screamer. They could just hold it up and it was still hitting that. Is that the ACMAG shot?
Yeah, that little scoop on the top right there.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so getting those combos built up builds up. I believe it's a big kind of a bonus value at the end of your ball. And then that, I mean, obviously that kind of left orbit shot, if you will, is kind of the multi-ball start shot, which is I would argue is probably one of the more difficult shots in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's seeing them put up big scores in this game was pretty impressive.
Yeah, this one we sort of skip forward to ball 3, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Andrew had to come back on ball 3. He was sitting at about 633 million. This one, Steve took last on. Just wasn't paying him. Just wasn't treating him right. But Luke had around just over $1 billion. Let me see. So 1.012 billion, $1.012 billion and change. And then Andrew Foster, Steve ends up with 462 million. Miles ends up with, Miles was in first with 1.049 billion. Luke in second with 1.02. So Andrew's got a combo out. That is sort of what's going on in his brain. He knows that's kind of where he's going to catch up. So I'm going to let some of this play.
Well, Andy is not done yet.
No, he's definitely in range.
He's at
Yes,
33
he is.
combos right now.
Now started ACMAC
work
mode.
to do, but definitely well reachable.
Bob Matthews
Without
on
having to do
the
anything
mic as
exceptional.
well.
He has to play well,
Steve
but
is
it's not like
playing.
he has a huge mountain to climb.
Right.
So Andy's at 35 combos. Do you get more points for
That
hitting
helps.
a combo
Yes,
with
it
the
does.
triggers?
That helps.
I think you get a trigger bonus
Okay.
at the end of the ball. But I'm trying to remember there was like a threshold. It was like 50 combos to get like I want to say it was like an extra ball, which
He's got
I'm not sure if
another
that awarded
series of stand-ups.
points in this game.
Okay.
I
He's
just remember
got
there
the
was a
one run.
threshold of hitting combo shots where some of these players were trying to get to. Trying to remember what the stream was.
Yeah, so Andy starts off
854
with, I
now.
think, just over 600 million. So he's got about
And I
500
believe if he gets
million
that,
and change to
it'll
go.
make
He's
it
sitting at
a multi-ball.
855 million right now in the footage we're watching. And he's comboing out. Last I
Sound right?
Yep.
said, he was at
Yeah,
35. He's
yeah,
already
we'll,
at 45. Gets his computer
he needs
award
that
at
stand
50.
up.
Is the computer the mystery?
Well, he's
I
actually got, if he gets 2 times
think so. Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
same shot on the right,
Bonus
or the
points.
kind of
He's gotta have
ACMAG,
combos.
I believe is
He's
the
nailed. Man,
mystery.
he's on
Yeah,
fire with these
yeah,
combos.
Yeah.
So now he's at 49,
50
at
now.
50. He's coming. And then he's at,
Leaving it around.
Yeah, he's
Like,
there.
I
He's
got-
done.
yeah,
I
he
got-
knew he was
Wow,
there.
what
He hit
a-
like
What a
55.
final ball there by Andy Foster. Wow. We got a game, ladies and gentlemen. We got a game.
So we have 5.
And so with that, Andy Foster takes first Demo Man. He ends up with 5 points. Steve Bowden with 4, Luke with 3, Miles with 2. Went on Demo Man, it went Andy, Miles, Luke, Steve. And then into our third game of the best card finals, we have Alien Poker. And so for Alien Poker, I was listening to Bob Matthews talk about it, and I think I agree with him. There was some strategy that players were focusing on, I believe, the drop targets in the center of the plate, get that value set up. But I feel like you should go for the kings. The kings, do you want to explain what they did? Played Alien Poker, sorry.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't have too much experience on this game, but I
think
was
they-
just going off the Bob Matthews guide too.
Yeah, so I think they increase your multiplier, maybe bonus multiplier. But the great thing about this version, it was playing very friendly to where you could stage flip your. So there are 2 flippers on the right, and 1 on the left. So it's got that sort of early solid state jankery that people might call it, where like a reverse Harlem Globetrotters, where you can stage the flippers so the bottom right flipper will trap up, but the top right flipper won't go up. So you can actually cradle where it won't scissor on you.
Right.
So on this version, I think it played very fair. And Bob was telling players to go up for the rollovers on the top to get. There's 4 rollover lanes on the top for your king cards, and you collect those, and it activates a bonus multiplier. Positive. If I'm not, please feel free to write us. Tell us how wrong we are. But on this, Steve was looking for the big W, and by the time we get to ball 3, I believe up. So we're here. Let me look at that. And Steve had about 1.2 million going into ball, or finishing off his ball 3. Luke had 579,000. Miles had 63 or so. Excuse me, this is ball 2. Apologize. Going into ball 3. Steve had 1.2 million. Luke had 802,000. Luke was player 1. Player 2. Miles was player 3 at 424,000. So Miles was sitting at 2 points. He needed to take this to sort of give himself a chance at a playoff tiebreaker. He ends up in second place, over 900,000. Overtook Luke on the best card Championships Game 3 on Alien Poker. Right now, you have Steve on top, Miles in second, Luke in third. Andy has 307,000 points. The footage we're watching, he is talking with the TD, trying to figure out the math because at the time, he had 5 points. Steve had 4. So if he could pass Miles, no, not Miles. He would have to pass Steve to take. He would have passing Steve would have won it for him. Sorry, I was trying to do the math on the fly. But there was a tiebreaker for third place. But the way it ends up is Andrew Foster ends up draining out, and Steve Bowden, congratulations, Fun with Bonus, is your 2024 Yegpin Best Card Championship winner. Congrats to him. Takes it on Alien Poker. So he took 2 firsts. He took first on Iron Man and Alien Poker. Took a last on Judge Dredd. So you never out. So after 2, he was sitting at 4 points. He ends up winning it. Miles comes in second with Luke. So they had a tiebreaker and Andy in fourth. And in the tiebreaker, they played Godzilla, which, funny enough, that was Jason Dollar's last game at IFPA 19. So your best card winner for, again, 2024 Yegpin Best Card Championships is Steve Bowden. Luke takes third. Andrew Foster took second.
Yeah.
And Miles took fourth. The Whoppers on that, 196 to Steve, 171 to Andy. Luke with another 157. So wait a minute. How many Whoppers did he get? He got 219 for the classics. Call it 220. 157. So 377. And then match play 214. So 377, 391, 591 Whoppers for the weekend of Luke at Yegpin 2024.
I think that bumped him up from like 6th to 3rd in the Open rankings.
Yeah, I'm thinking 591. That's more than double my total.
Yeah. Excuse me.
So, did you have any thoughts on it? I enjoyed watching it. I look forward to it every year. I was going to go this year, but I actually didn't have my passport. So now I have it. I can go.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a tournament that was on my radar. Unfortunately, couldn't make it this year, but I hope to go sometime in the future. I know the game setups are notoriously tough, but it seems to be a different challenge, and I mean they don't have any problem with attendance, so it's definitely keeping people coming back, and it seems to be a top notch, really well run tournament. So
exactly, and as with most majors, there's also a women's championship, so we want to highlight that. We've got footage of the women.
I think they're not quite a major yet.
Oh, they're not. Oh,
I know there's
it was just Stern Pro Circuit. That's
yes.
Some
calls for them to be a major, which we'll see. See what happens.
See. So in your women's division finals, you had Vanessa Chantel Mercier, Casey Lindbergh out of Arizona, and Kayla Wolf. It was a lot of fun to watch. Enjoyed ladies putting on more great pinball. This was a 4-game bank. So going into game 4, Chantel had 7 points. Or excuse me, Tracy had 4, Vanessa had 6, Kayla had 1, and Chantel had 7. So they were at game 4. We have some footage going, I think. But they were going into Metallica. So Vanessa had Brave multi-ball set up, but her bonus pushed her over the up with 4 million points, which again shows you how tough these.
Yep.
Which overtook Chantel. So at the time, she needed Michaela to sort of be spoiler to force a tiebreaker. So Michaela comes in on ball 3, doesn't pass Chantel. If she had passed Chantel, I think that would have helped Vanessa take it right there on game. But she didn't. And so it was a tiebreaker for first. Chantel Mercier versus Vanessa Ish. The game was Meteor. Chantel was player 1, gets 45K. Great score. ball one. That's like
Mhm.
46K ball one, so they're tied. They're even. Into ball two, Chantel has 81,000. Vanessa comes in on ball two and doesn't hit the spinner, which on Meteor, you want to kind of hit the drops at the top to spell Meteor, but not all the way.
Right.
Spell it just shy of one letter, then rip your spinner on the top right. She doesn't do that. She just has a ton of drops that work for her, a little ping pong action. Her score, she ends up with 189,000. So 189 to 81. After that, it was ball three for Chantel. Unfortunately, it ends quickly. And your new 2024 Yegpin women's champ is Vanessa Ish. It was cool to see her win. There were a lot of, I think she's out of the Seattle area, a lot of her
Yep.
local players cheering her on in chat. Cool to watch. I don't know a lot of the women's players. So it was nice to see.
Yep. I watched that finals. It was a great game. That
Yeah.
tiebreaker match was on Meteor was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I clipped it on Twitch. I don't know if you saw it, but she has this crazy dig save. Well, she rips the spinner on a backhanded rip, and then immediately has like a dig to save the ball, and then she just like flips her hair back like it was nothing. And it's just such like a boss move. It was so cool.
That's awesome. So for her troubles, Vanessa Ish comes out with 102 Whopper points for the women's division. Chantel in second with 81.95. Tracy Seaburgh with 70. Taylor Wolf, who picked 82 before. Very, very nice, nice player to just talk with. She comes out with 62 points. Big kudos to all the ladies for putting on excellent pinball play, giving us some content to consume and just high level action. That was Yegpin 2024. As we said, the weekend of Luke, 591 Whoppers. Congratulations. Do you have anything to say about
No, that's I think that wraps it up pretty nicely. Yeah.
it?
Congrats to everyone who attended and endured the game setups there.
Yeah, so that was our big tournament review. Again, this is our first episode, so the way it'll work is we'll try to figure out our rhythm and have more footage to some of the things I thought I had in there. Didn't. But yeah, that we had IFPA 19, Yegpin, two of the big ones. England Pinball Championship. Well, there, let me see. I have the Oh, I do.
Nice.
So on your main open, Nick DiStefano with 96 points to take first place. I also want to give a highlight to Noah Crable. The announcers were saying he was sort of just coming into playing more competitive pinball. I've talked with him before where we had an idea to do sort of something similar to this, but focus on the math of pinball, strategy of it. But man, he had a really, really good weekend. PL. He came in second on the main with 73.64 points. Brian O'Neill, 61.75 points in third, and James McFadder in fourth with 52.48. Main open for the NEPL. Before I go, do you have anything to classics on NEPL? Watch any of it?
The NEPC, sorry, the championship.
It
was good. I from what I understand, it's like a newer space that Brian O'Neill helped together, or I believe is running. But it looks great. It's not too far, so maybe I can try to drive up there. But you mentioned Noah Crable. I think he does a lot of like pinball guides on Kineticist, and they've been pretty top notch. I've been reading some of those, so learning up on the new games, and I know he's a real rules wonk. So all of that data is definitely much appreciated on the new games as they come out.
Yeah, thank you for contributing to Kineticist and also Tilt Forum.
Yeah,
everybody else that does great research. And for the classics at the NEPC, Nick Zendejas took first, 45.07 points, and then Noah Crable, second place. So 2 silver medals for him, 33.77 whoppers. Eric Geddes in third, 27.87 whoppers. Seth Gween with 23 points. NEPC. Then did we talk about MF Quarterly?
I don't think so, but yeah, we can touch on that real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that's their kind of quarterly tournament out in Monterey, California. That's looks like Dustin Goldberg took that one home with a little over 30 whoppers. Tim Hansen in second, who I got to meet him in Golden State. It's a great guy. I think he's still the number 1 player in California right now. He's a super strong player. Nate King in third, and then Matthew Talley in fourth.
Nice. All right. Congrats to all our winners there. So that, there you are. That is going to do it for our tournament review. It looks like we're clocking in at about an hour and a half, which is about where I expected us to be. And that's with some footage missing. So thank you for hanging on with us if you have been our inaugural episode. And we don't always want to just talk about tourney pinball. We're also going to try to do some fun stuff like this. This, my friends, is going to be our tier maker list. There was an individual, I forgot his name. It was like Nighttime, or maybe you'll be able to grab it. Put out a YouTube video, his rankings, his sort of top Sterns, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have some games during this podcast. We've thought of some. I've always thought about Swap Shop segment, where we take one mech from, we have a list of pins, then like we swap a mech from different pins and sort of like I'll tell you, hey, you give me your pin of choice. You say Godzilla. I say, okay, I'm taking away your building mech, and you have to choose a mech from this pin, and then sort of build a Frankenstein monster. We'll see who comes out with the better choice. And we've also got ideas for draft lotteries of designer, coder, artist. But this is a fun one. We'll try to get through this. Won't rush it, but we won't spend as much time on it, so you could sort of get on with your day if you're listening. But this is going to be our tier maker, and we're going to pick our, if you've never seen this, it's big in the fighting game area. And you sort of pick your characters, but here we're going to pick Sterns. What can you tell us about the Sterns that we're looking at?
Yeah, I think these are all the. I guess these are all modern Stern games.
Yeah,
they're
looks
not.
like it. I see Striker Extreme on there. And
Yeah,
some of the
pretty
other.
pretty comprehensive list of Stern games on here. So, yeah, should we
So
start,
do it.
start at
So
the top?
I'm gonna put. Let's do this. Let's put D, the letter D. So it's also graded. So S, it's like
Yep.
S tier is your top. A, B, C, D. Let's put D as a tier for pins that we sort of haven't played as much. Because I know there are some on here that I haven't really.
I think there's some that I've never played.
Yeah,
even on this list.
Let's use D as that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put. Have you played? Let's start with some of the ones already. I have not played Strikers Extreme. Have you?
I've not played that. No.
D. What is
Yep.
Transformers? Oh, I've played that.
Transformers. Yeah.
you-
I don't think I've played that game.
Have you played WrestleMania?
I have.
Yeah. I will take I will defer to you here. So
Oh my gosh.
we'll call out, because this is going to be audio and video. We'll call out the pins that were moving around. Again,
Sure.
S tier is the top, then A is second, is third, C is fourth. We're going to use the D tier for pins that we don't have experience on, so you can sort of play along with us.
Yeah.
So you have played WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. It's an interesting game. It's got a cool kind of mechanic at the top.
The ring?
There's an upper play field. Yeah, the ring,
Okay.
where they're kind of like slingshots that you fire with the flippers.
Okay.
Where
would you put it?
I think I'm gonna put it at the C tier. I think I'm gonna put it in the C tier. I just don't have enough experience on the game. But I've played it a few times competitively, and the scoring seemed a little a little bit wacky. I'll just leave it at that.
What about
Yeah.
Grand Prix? Have you Prix? I have not.
Grand Prix? I don't think so. I played the Bally Grand Prix.
Yeah, the classic that everybody loves with one of the best spinners in pinball.
I have
Spinner
not
sound.
played that.
Okay, how about Harley Davidson? Played that?
I have not.
How about Rolling Stones? I played the classic. Haven't played the Stern.
I think I've played it maybe once or twice. That's the one with Mick on a stick, right? He's kind
Yeah.
of moving back and forth. I couldn't give an opinion on the game really. I don't have enough really playtime on it.
Let me put
Yeah.
Sharky Shootout. Have you played that one?
I don't think I've seen that game, no.
But I don't think I've played it. I'm going to put that in D as well. Okay.
Sure.
Let me see. 24. Have you played 24? I've only played the virtual version. I know it's sort of rare to find in the wild.
I think I've seen it, but have not played.
Okay, I'm going to put that in D as well. Let's go to going through Mustang. Have you played Mustang?
I've played it less than a handful of times at the copy of District 82.
Yeah, that's where I played it. I'm going to put it in C.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's there. I don't remember it. Oh, NBA. I've never played NBA.
I don't think I didn't even know they made an NBA game.
So it's sort of like the NFL game where you can customize it to your team. I think it's like that. Seen people with like Celtics versions. Okay, let's start now at the top of the list. In alphabetical order, James Bond Stern, recent James. I love this pin now.
I love that game, dude.
I don't think it's out of character or whack to say that the code is unbelievable.
Yes.
The new bonus screen was sort of the fighting game character select highlight is so cool. George Gomez and team have knocked it out of the park. It had a very rough start. The code was nowhere. You could sit in the pops all day and just pop out and get a great score. People were complaining about how there's I forgot what it is, no individual systems for the pops. They're all sort of together on opto, or I don't know what the term is. I remember them complaining. I love it. Is it S tier for me? No. I would put it in the A.
I agree.
I
would agree with that.
It has like 50 different modes you have to get through just to get to the end. And I love a long slog, but there are times when I want to just show up to a pin, like sort of rage and, get beat up and play a quick one. But I would not say that it's bad pin. I think it's one of the better Sterns in recent history. I'd put it in A. What are your thoughts on Bond?
I think it's well deserving of the A category. It's become one of my favorite games to play on location. Whenever I see a Bond, I'm like, all right, let me get a game or two in there. There's just so much to do in the game. The code's really fleshed out in the last 6 months to a year. Great game.
Yeah, the martini shot giving you a smart missile, very cool. And now you have swipeable for the premium and LEs on your Bird One rocket lock. There's just so much to do, and it's so cool. The Bond women add such a great aspect to it. Yeah, A tier. James Bond 60th. I played it a few times at Electric Bat for my shirt.
Yep.
Shout out to Kale and the Electric Bat team. Here's the thing. It's a $20,000 MSRP pin, and it's a street level, and it's an Elwin. It should be like, I don't know if we're going to get into a side topic of it, but I just don't see the value there for owning it. However, we're talking about playing it. I would put it at best a B. It's fun. I love street level pins, but compared to some of the other ones on this list, that's what I'm ranking it against. At best, I'm going to put it a B. I don't think it's an S or an A.
Sure. I would say high B, low A, but I'm good with a B. I feel like Elwin doesn't miss when it comes to designing pinball machines, and I really enjoy playing. I mean, like you said, there's not really a lot of Bond 60s in the wild just because of the price. But anytime I do see one, I rush to play it because it's
Yeah.
that good.
It's fast. It's good. I look at the value of it. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, guys, there should be, if you're going to charge that much, understand what, take a look at pins that sort of Pulp Fiction, trying to get a throwback to the style and harder pins. And I think it does that well. So I would agree with a B for it there. Other parts of it. Right. It's an Elwin and hardly miss. AC/DC on this.
So I may be biased because I'm a big Steve Ritchie fan. But I'll put that in a B. I think a strong B to a soft A is I like the layout. The shots feel good. Backhanding ramps is always fun. I think it's a fun game. It's got the little, the trigger shooting the cannon at the targets on the side.
Now this pin kicks ass as far as an adrenaline rush. I mean, music pins, you have to pick the theme very carefully because you have something to keep the player engaged. Code obviously has to be there to take a look with rating. And this pin kicks ass as far as pumping you up. Had it, Abilene Showdown tiebreaker. They turned down the music on every other pin and blasted this. It was one of the best entertaining tiebreakers. Thunderstruck is blasting, and I enjoy the shot. The code is solid. It's not subpar. I think the updated code makes a lot more sense because if you have the old code, I think something crazy. So I think B. Aerosmith.
Aerosmith, I feel like it's just like a lesser Guardians.
Yeah. I love the toy box. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it's a cool mech.
Yeah, the shot to get there, hit the toy box to activate your lock, but then hit it in that little alcove. I don't like that part, but
yeah,
I've rebounded enough to get into it. The modes aren't really kind of standard music. I don't feel like there's a lot of activity in it. Reminds me of Kiss or fair. I would give it a C. But I was
going to say strong C to a light B.
Yeah, I'm looking at the C pins and I think I'm going to give it a C. I don't know. I could see it a B. I could see the argument for, but I don't think higher. Next, Avatar. I can only give it a C. I've played it twice at TPF.
Yeah, we had one on location here that one of our local players ended up buying. I always dreaded playing it in competition, just because it can be pretty brutal to play. But it's fine. I think C is fine.
As Los would say, it's fine. Or
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C. Austin Powers. I have played I played the virtual version. It's very funny, true to its theme. I never played it in real life. I don't know much about it other than another pin with a toilet, like South Park.
I've never played it, so I couldn't give a rating on it.
Let's give it a D.
Sure.
Let's jump around here. We don't have to go in order. Munsters.
I've only played it a handful of times. I don't know the game very well. So I don't know if I can give it a real rating.
I'm gonna give it a C. And
Sure.
it's a Dwight machine. I love Dwight. He's one of my favorite coaches. But hard on this pin because basically activate all your family members. Get to the wizard. Sort of in jail point. There's no really way to get out. Premium has the lower playfield, I believe. I don't think the Pro has it. Should make sense. I played it at Intarium. Played it at Starfighters. I played it on vacation. I had one at a pizza parlor. And I love sort of the theme integration, but if we're talking solely about play, I think it's fair. I think a lot of people will sort of agree. but it's got some cool stuff in it as far as assets. But as a player, I don't think it gets. Let's do World Poker Tour. I have not played this, but I would like to own one because it's a Keith Johnson game. I think he did Simpsons Pinball Party Code, and I know it's a long player, and it just looks super cool. And you need the color DMD. Played World Poker Tour?
I have. I've only played it a few times in competition. They have one down in Richmond, the Pinball Collective down there. Shout out RPC. It's a fun game. I know that it has a very difficult to get to wizard mode that chat always teases Carl about getting to. But yeah, I know it's got a deep rule set. And I mean another Steve Ritchie game. Can't be mad at it.
I'm gonna go D because I haven't played it. I should be able to. This will be in my collection. So one day I'm hoping to give it a more fair grade. I can see it as a B. I love Johnson game, so it really speaks to me. Plus, I love gambling. Great theme. I used to watch Poker After Dark, so it would fit right in. So let's go Star Trek Stern.
I like that game a lot.
Yeah.
It's again Steve Ritchie design. Backhanding orbits feels good. Plays super fast. I've heard this kind of compared to Spider-Man. It's like Spider-Man and sequel in spirit. Yeah, it's a fun game, fast game.
This is one where I think if you look at the different models, you can really see the amount of effort in the LE. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It has the cool like side rails, the lit up side rails. It's a beautiful pin. As far as play, I have done a battle where virtual versus Don't Panic Flip. He had the real one. It was just so cool. The little, what's the escape shot under the upper right flipper when you hold it up? It's called
the home team.
Yeah, that's it. Home team. Yeah, and so I think that's the blast to try and hit. It's got a ton of modes. You can earn medals. Multi-balls are fun. I've played it in plenty of tournament. I always go for Nero first. What's your first mode on Start?
I think I started at the top of the triangle. I forgot the name of the.
Gotcha. I've always seen people do Nero, and I think I know why, but I think I'm going to switch it. So for Star Trek, I'm going to put it, I think it's high B, low A. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think strong B to a light A.
Let's come back.
I think B is good.
Yeah, let's do B. I was going to say let's come back and see if we put it up. Whoa Nelly. I've played this. I get the novelty of it. Fine.
Yeah, I would probably put it the lowest tier.
I played it enough, but I'll put it in D. It's fine. It's not. Monopoly. Kudos to District 82 for having a great version. It's in a lot of their tournaments. I love all the mechs. If you're talking about integration with a theme, it's there. Or my Elvira pins, which always have great theme integration. I enjoy shooting it. I don't know if it's looking at some of the other pins on this list. I don't know if it would above them for me. So high C, low B for me. Bank is cool. The little constantly spinning mini flipper on the right, neat. But I don't. It's in that era of Wheel of Fortune, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I would put it high C, low B. What do
you? I haven't really played this game too much, so I'm going to defer to you on that.
I'll go to C. We'll do C for Monopoly. I can see someone making an argument for B. The code is fun, but you're playing like Roller Coaster Tycoon, time out every mode, and we'll just go to Roller Coaster Tycoon right now. There's not like as much. I don't seek it out. The Roller Coaster Tycoon I would put in this.
I think I can agree with that. There was one on location near me that I wasn't too fond of playing. I'm also, again, a little biased because I'm not the biggest Pat Lawler fan. So
gotcha. I'll put it as C. Let's go to X-Men. And by Stern, different versions. Wolverine, Hulk version. Right? Oh no, is that Avengers? No, there's a Magneto and there's a Magneto, not Hulk.
I think
Magneto and Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah.
This is a tough one. Man, I don't do well on this pin. Usually, I go for the Magneto multi-ball if I can get it. There's also the Wolverine shot in the front, I believe, front left. There's a really hard left ramp. I don't know if that's Storm or if it's somebody else. I never really do. I played this at Dory Hill 2 years ago. That was the most extensive time on it. I'm going to give it a C. Don't bug through it. Never seen anybody blow it up.
I've only played it once, and I believe it was at D82. So I don't really remember too much about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it never leaves me with a memorable experience. I don't walk away saying, yeah, that was, but it's a tough one. So I don't know if I'd chalk it up to the code or the layout. I think it's just I'm not good at it and I haven't played it enough. So I don't want to be too unfair. Let's do Ripley's, believe it or not. One of Keith Owen's favorite pins. I agree with him. My friend Seraph, Brian, owned one. I've played this a few times. I played it at Magoo's, Tulsa. It's got a lot to do. You got the cool thing is, owing to the theme of Ripley's Believe It or Not, you're looking at sort of a Guinness World Records sort of odd facts theme. I love that there's a wizard mode where you're getting the secret continent Atlantis. I've never seen it. I've seen people get to it. And then you've also got modes to, what is it? Collect the continents and then collect Ripley letters, right? I think it's fun. It's a long player. We saw in IFPA 19 Arvid blow it up and pick it for a good reason. There's strategy in it. I would put it no lower than a B. I don't think I'd put it in A for me.
Yeah. So we had one of these on location. I had to play it a bunch in league and at tournaments, and funny enough, I actually dreaded playing it, and for that reason, I tried to avoid it really at Indisc, and then after like some convincing from I want to say it was like Carlos or maybe Preston, they were just like, "Yo, you should just play it," and I played it, and like it played super fair, and I was like, "All right, this is going on my card," and I kind of like rediscovered my joy of playing the game. So I think B's pretty good.
Of our classics that we have, I think Ripley's Believe It or Not is solid B.
It's a fun game.
You want to pick one?
Yeah. Let's see. What do we have in this top row? I just have it kind of pulled up on the side here.
Right, do a rapid fire.
What about the Beatles?
Sure. Beatles, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. This game, it's tough. I mean, it's, retheme, or not retheme, but like, same layout as Sea Witch, right? With a kind of whole new modern rule set. I don't know. I feel like the copies of the Beatles I've played so differently from each other that it's like feast or famine on the points.
Yep.
I mean, it's fun. It's a fun shooter, I think, for a single level playfield. Hitting the loops is pretty satisfying. But I don't know if I would put it in the B tier. I think I might leave it down in C.
I'm gonna agree with you on C. We have one near me now, and I like Sea Witch more, but it's cool they have a classic code version where a mode where you can just play the old Sea Witch code. I don't know. I like Sea Witch more. I'm gonna agree with for many of the reasons you said. Pick another one.
Yeah. What about Black Knight Sword of Rage?
All right, so it's behind me. I'm a little biased.
Oh,
It was one of the first pin I played in my first tournament in competitive pinball. Holy cow, what is this? What is this Diablo style pin?
Oh yeah.
It is fast and furious. I love it for that reason, but I understand that there's a huge difference in tournament pinball because you can only bring the pro. You can't bring the premium or LE. The upper playfield is too unfair. Me personally, I think it needs the upper playfield. If you're talking about the trilogy of Black Knight, the prior two predecessors had it. So I think it's a staple of it. I love retro mode. I love the animation. The art is unreal on that LCD. It's super cool, but it's shallow. There's not a lot of strategy in it as far as I don't see a lot of players going for super side stuff like super slings, super pops. Get the mode, get the multi-ball, and then if you don't have the premium RLE, you miss out on catapult. So I don't know. Trying to be unbiased. I want to say it's high as an A, but looking at other pins on here, I'm not going to say A. I'm going to give it a B.
I'll say A. I'll say A for
You'll
you.
say A? Okay.
I love that. I love that game, man. It's I mean, again, Steve Ritchie design, plays fast, can be super brutal, which makes it a great tournament game.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. It's hard for me to
it's
divorce myself because I own it.
no,
Okay,
it's
all
a
right.
it's an incredible game, man.
All right.
I love it.
Hey, I'm glad you love it. Let's pick Family Guy. Let's do a few rapid ones. Family Guy.
Yeah, sure.
I'm giving a C or a D. What do you think?
I'll give it a C. It's not
Okay.
my favorite.
Elvis. I'll give it a C or a D.
Oh, I just haven't played it.
Put a D.
Yeah,
CSI. I'm gonna give a D.
haven't played. Yeah.
Do Transformers. I'm giving it a C. I played it a couple times.
I haven't played it, but I've been watching Carlos play it a bunch, and he makes it seem also not super fun.
I'm gonna give it a D because
Sure.
Let's do Shrek. D for me. I've played it a handful of times. Family Guy. So
Yeah.
same layout. What do you think?
Same layout, same game. I mean, I feel like it's put it next to Family Guy, right? It's
Okay.
the same game.
Yes.
Not same game, but same layout.
Playboy. Never played.
Never played it.
D for Playboy. Pirates of the Caribbean Stern. I have played it.
We have one on location right now. It's also not my favorite game to play in competition, but only because I feel like at least for me, my tournament strat for it is just left ramp all day.
That's what I saw. I played against Roland in it. That's what he was doing. He killed me. I don't know. I give it a D. I'll put it C if you'd like.
Oh no, you can leave it D. It's fine.
Okay,
That's fair.
It's a one-trick pony. I don't find anything memorable. Stern Indy. Think of this.
Oh man, some say it's the worst game.
Yeah, I've played it twice or so. I don't know. The classic Indy is so much more fun to me.
Yeah.
I would give it a C at best. What do you think?
I would even put it lower than that.
Yeah, I'll give you a D. I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
Kiss. Stern Kiss.
I like Kiss.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Like I really do. The little what's the upper alcove called? The 8 gun or not that what the mode is for the multi-ball.
Oh, I know what you're talking about the what is it like love something?
Yeah, love gun. Yeah, love gun. And the mech for eating the ball is cool, like the big G face. That's what I thought they'd have on Venom. I don't know. I really like Kiss. I enjoy playing it. I look at Aerosmith, and I see Kiss as a better version of that because it sort of has the same approach to modes. You know, light a mode, it'll light certain shots and then get it. But I love the multi-ball and the party and a pin. I would put Kiss at B.
I would agree with that. B is good.
Big Buck Hunter, I've never played. I've seen people play it.
Never played it either.
Yeah. D. And then early Stern Batman, not Batman 66, Dark Knight. So
Dark Knight?
Yeah.
I like Dark Knight. It's got its I mean you can kind of tell the inspiration that Batman 66 took from it, like with in terms of like rules and everything. Also a Gomez design.
I'll defer to you on this one.
Just based on what we have and see, I think it's worthy of a B.
Put it a B. Let's go to Batman 66. This is one of the first pins I've ever seen played. I love it. Absolutely.
Yep.
I think it's campy to perfect degree. I think is one of the pins that taught me focusing on the math, because so many ways you can blow it up. I love the design. It's just a fun pin to sort of play. Now, I haven't seen it on location a lot. They have it in Goose, excuse me, in Tulsa. Virtual version is awesome. I think it's a win. I think it's a high B, low A, to be honest.
I would put it in the A category.
Okay.
I think it's an exceptional game. The rule set's fully fleshed out. It's very similar to Bond, where I mean, understand the rules were not, or kind of the code was not fully there when it released, but the game it is today, it's very good.
I agree. We'll put Batman 66 at A. High Roller Casino had some time on it, and I played at big majors. I would put it in high C, low B, because that IFPA, there's some crazy strategy going on. I don't want to give it higher only because I haven't played it as much, but for one of the older titles, I put it near the top. What do you think?
Yeah, I have a bit of a grudge against that game because I think it was twice I left it as my 5th game at Indisc, and I couldn't do anything on it. But I mean, I can appreciate it for what it is.
I could put it C.
I think C, yeah, high C, low B,
2C.
pretty good.
The B's should be. You pick one.
Yeah. It's a little hard. What is it at the top left? Is that just regular Avengers? The top left?
Yes. Regular Avengers and AIQ's next.
I don't think I've played the original Avengers pin.
It's like X-Men.
Have you?
I would honestly put it at
Okay.
C or. It's fun, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it out.
Sure. And then AIQ next.
First spin I've ever owned. It's an Elwin.
Sentimental for you?
Yeah, I played it today. I always come back. I think it's one of his best coded pins. It's got my favorite shot in modern pinball, the Captain Marvel ramp on
Oh yeah.
Premium and LE. I love how much there is to do with it. People have told me, "Oh, it's pretty shallow. All you do is rinse and repeat, and get to the wizard mode." There's a computer multi-ball. There are many ways to approach it, especially with gem placement. You could ask somebody, "Where do you put reality?" I would say put it on Captain Marvel because the binary dot applied unreal points.
Yeah.
People put it on Hulk. Gamma mode. Spinner rip is just exponentially increased. What do you think?
It's not my favorite game to play in competition, but I do love playing it on my own. It's a really, really good layout. And like you said, it's an Elwin. I would say strong B to low A.
I'm gonna push us to the A.
Yeah, there we go.
I think it's one of his best. I know people put it at the bottom sometimes of lists. I can't agree with that. I would kind of put it higher than others, but I'm not going to argue one way or the other because I know why people choose. It's hard for me to separate myself from the bias because it was my first third purchase.
Yep.
It's just phenomenal, but I won't put it in S. Try and show some sort of unbias. Let's do Iron Man. I'm going to let you start with this.
Iron Man, yeah. I do enjoy playing it in tournaments because it's like can be very brutal, but if you have kind of a game plan, I think you can really pay. And there's so many ways to approach it, right? Like you can bogey out while you're just hitting the ramps. You can get your monger going. You can go for whiplash multi-ball. I mean, it's a fun game. Super fast, tough layout. I think another strong B to light A for that game.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the B. I'm going to agree with you. I think everything you've said makes. It's like reminds me of Sword of Rage. Very brutal, very fast. And there's approach it. You could bring both War Machine and Monger multi-balls in there. You start one before the other. Just super cool. And then talking about bogeying, watched Escher, I've watched others take that strat, and if you have the shots dialed in, forget it. You're good. You don't have to do
Yep.
it. Getting to the wizard mode,
Is it Jericho?
yeah, just awesome. Absolutely. I'll give it a
Yeah.
B. I don't want to. I want to save some of the A's, I think, for the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Let's do Zeppelin. I know people say you have to play the premium in L. The code is there. I have not had a good time because I've only seen the pro many a times. I've seen glimpses of good code, but I can't put it. I don't
Oh,
know
man.
about you.
I love this game. Believe it or not, we actually just got a premium on location near me, and as soon as I found that out, I went over there and played it until I got the GC on it because I just enjoy playing it so much. I don't know that it's if an A is warranted, but I would at least put it in the B category.
Okay, I'll defer to you there. On
It's
the premium
just,
and LE, I've seen the code, or I've seen the mechs, and they make such a difference. The pro is one of the most bare pros I've ever, and it's just not fun to play to me. But I'll
fair.
defer to you on that. I'll go B. I don't think I would go higher. Why don't you pick one?
Yeah. Just going from the left again. Deadpool. I really love this game. I know that for as kind of simple as the rule set is, it's all the shots are very satisfying to hit, especially that it might be the best skill shot in all pinball, or even the MXV. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's
And
got
then
the,
hitting sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the snicket.
Yeah, the snicked. Oh my gosh, if you can get the snicks going and you start getting your playfield multipliers up, it's very very satisfying, very exhilarating. I would go so far as to put in the A category.
I'm gonna agree with you. I think the team ups, the skill shot to the katana ramp is so amazing. Having a multi-ball, having a drop target bank in the front for little Deadpool, is a cool little place to put some sort of ball safety if it catches it. The Wolverine Berserker Raid shot is so nice, center spinner, especially then it sets up your double damage. That if you're going Sabertooth or any Juggernaut, although you bring a multi-ball in the Juggernaut. And then it's just fun. It's fun the call outs are great.
Yep.
It's a good experience. I would definitely agree A. I can see people putting it high. Let's go to Ghostbusters. I don't know the reason for ignore the backstory. I don't know the reason for such bipolar polarization of extreme opinions on it. I have had fun playing it. Magnetic slings, whatever it is down there, have thrown me into chaos. It reminds me of the Guardian Orb Magnet.
Yep.
So I don't know where to put this. I think it's so fun when I do play it, but I do get frustrated because a lot of the copies I've played have been trashed on location. No one keeps their pins up far on it for whatever reason. I've seen a roached out right scoop and nothing happens. What do you think?
Oof. Yeah, we got one on location relatively recently, and I do really enjoy playing this game. I would say it's a strong B.
I'll agree with the B there. I don't get the hate on it as far as just the pin itself. So NASCAR, I've played it a few times. It's fun, a lot of action. I would say C because of what we have in the B category.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I do enjoy playing this game. I think we don't have any on location near me, but I think one or two people have one in their private collections that I've been lucky enough to play, and I always enjoy playing it whenever I do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, strong C is good.
What about the Sopranos? No, this is sort of a darling. I played the D82 one. It's sort of heavily modified because you can't have it in a tournament, especially with the plunger. You got to have just You have to take that out and do some
Yep.
stuff. I don't know too much about it. I know the drop on the right. Have to sneak it in. Looks fun. What do you think?
It's a fun game. It's a great theme. I have I think the first time I played it was in some like bar in Oakland actually, or a brewery, and I remember having a really good time on it. But then we have one locally here that we had in league for a little bit, and it was always like a really long player.
Yeah.
But it's a fine game.
I would
I would
put
say
it
strong C.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I was gonna say C. Let's do Rush. Modern.
Oh, okay.
Rush. Ray Day, John Borg. I know I've watched a lot. Played a lot of the LE when it was at Cidercade. Don't have it anymore. Played it in tournaments a bunch. It still confuses me, but when you're kind of bringing everything together, it needs the expression lights for me, but when you're bringing everything together, it is a blast to flip. I think the Time Machine is one of the coolest mechs. Had fun on the Pro. I don't feel I need the Premium or LE. I know some people disagree with that, but I think it's deep enough, especially with, I know it's got, the Wizard mode is what, 2112, and then like you have to do it again, or Book a Cygnus 2 or something, I think it's called. But
I've never
I
gotten
love
that
it.
far, but
I love flipping it. I would put it a strong B low.
I would agree with that. Yeah, we don't have any on location near me anymore, unfortunately. But when we did, I really enjoyed it. The layout is exceptional. The shots are all very satisfying to hit.
Yeah, and the light show is great to see. All outs are super funny. Hearing the band members, the assets are fine. They're whatever it is, concert footage. But the hearing them through their calls, like, "Hey, hoser," it's just cool.
Yeah.
I would put it in B. Looking at what we have in A, I don't think it's
Sure.
go.
Yeah. How about The Walking Dead? Go from one Borg to another.
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I would say arguably this is Borg's best design. I love this game. I mean, if it's not apparent already, I'm a fan of the brutal games, but also like seeing them in tournament settings, it can be a bit of a, an equalizer of sorts. And I think, depending on how the game is set up, it can be very brutal. But if you can get into that flow state and find the shots on this game, it's so good.
Yeah, there's so many ways to approach it. Some people start CDC again, and then other people are like, no, set up your prison and then start barn to increase the value of CDC. My favorite code.
Nice.
Design-wise, layout, it's not my favorite layout, but the Lyman code on this, I don't know why I didn't play it earlier. I used to go at lunch near me, Pinstack, which is bowling alley. 10 pins. They're all terribly taken. Bond code is still on the.
Oh my gosh.
IC doesn't work. This was the only one that would play, but the right sling with fire ran. I would always play. I'd probably spend $100-$200 just to play. So good. This is S.
Hell yeah.
Love the code.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is one of my favorites. I haven't played the Premium or LE, and I know it's a big difference because the Walker bombs will change how you approach it. I think the idea, and then the crossbow. I love the Pro. I think, and then in Premium LE, you also have the Walker head on the left ramp, which I think can result in a straight down the middle shot or rebound. So this is up there for me. I would put this S tier. Just for the code, it's so good. There's so many ways to tackle it, and you see everybody doing something different. Until you play it a lot and understand how you can approach it, pivot to go to Bloodbath and maybe something else. Then trying to get to last man standing with all the walker kills. Ooh, forget it. So I would put it at
Okay. You think this is our first S? I would give strong A, but I don't know if you want to make this our first S, that would be interesting.
I'm looking at the rest of them. I think it could
I
be
do have a couple in mind for S tier, but yeah.
Yeah, I let me go to my next S.
Okay. Sure.
Godzilla. I would put it up.
Oh yeah. Easy S tier.
I'm gonna put Godzilla in S tier. I don't think we need to explain. But
Yeah,
just
yeah.
briefly, I think it's Owen's best pin. Got some of the most satisfying shots as far as flow. I think it's fair. I think you don't get long or short games only. I think you get a good average of medium games. I think what they've done on the code to bring it to where it is, it was almost great out of the point, whatever release code it is. Not like a Bond or any other game that has, like Wick right now needs a little bit more. So I would put Godzilla in S. I would equate that with Walking Dead. You give me one of your S tier so I can compare.
Yeah, the other S tier I was going to put in there is Jurassic Park.
Yep.
I think that's
Yeah, I agree.
an ideal pinball machine.
Yeah.
Ideal game.
And I think the difference in Jurassic Park and Godzilla is sort of apparent. I feel like Jurassic Park is more stop and go because your shots you don't flow as much. Getting the upper shots to hit is harder in Jurassic Park for me than hitting the loop in Godzilla is easier than hitting the tower shot, I think it's called, Jurassic Park. I just started getting into it a lot. I think those are two solid S tier. What do you think about Walking Dead?
I just don't know if it's maybe I need to spend more time on it, but I don't know if it's
A.
quite on the level.
Let's put it in A.
I mean, I think it's a strong A
Okay.
contender for sure.
We'll put it in A. I can agree to disagree there, but I think of all the A's, I think it's my favorite. I'm gonna put it as the first A.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's go to Foo Fighters. I'll let you start.
Yeah. Very strong first cornerstone game for Jack Danger. I love the layout, it's super flowy. The code now is, I think, really, really in a good place. Combotron and combos. I would put it in a strong A.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think with expounding upon Combotron, having a mode where your audio levels increase, hit consecutive shots is so cool. It's so cool, and the sound it makes is dopamine hit that I didn't think I needed in my life, but it's awesome. Everything about it is. Kudos to the animation team at Stern because they made an Attack from Mars.
Oh yeah.
Music pin, and it's so cool. I love everything about it. It doesn't make S tier for me, but I've been to the final battle. I was one shot away from beating the Overlord in Phase 4. It is tons of fun. I could play it all day. The innovation in it, as far as shot geometry, super cool. Kicker, the dead post. I give it like our number 2A. I had to pick.
Yeah, I think that's worthy.
All right, you go.
All right. What is that on the left? Is that Elvira?
Yeah, House of Horrors.
House of Horrors, cool. Another actually, who did this game? It's another Lyman code, right?
Yep. Lyman code. Got the haunts, got the deadheads, got the coffin multi-ball. Of all the pins on this, I think it's the best theme integrated. I think all the Elvira's are great. And I think it's because of her dedication to making it true to her IP and license. She probably didn't want to put out just anything and collect a check. She really put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah.
It's fun. It does kind of get repetitive for me.
Sure.
But I don't ever walk away from it saying I've had a bad time. I would put it as a B.
Yeah, I think it's a strong B. It's very campy. The theme integration is great. I will say the Blood Red Kiss edition. I don't know if you've ever seen one in the wild, but it's maybe one of the most beautiful pinball machines I've ever seen.
I haven't, but I will take your word for it because the pictures.
Yeah,
I feel like they don't do it justice. It's so stunning.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. that contrast of black and white and the red glitter blood side rail. Ooh.
Yeah.
Go again.
Sure. Is it Game of Thrones next on the far left? Ooh. I still haven't, as much as I've played it and as much as we have them on location around me, I haven't gotten to like Hand of the King. But maybe I should play it more. It is fun. I do like the layout. I would say it's a strong B.
Yeah, I agree. This is another one. Sort of reminds me of Black Knight, Walking Dead. Big difference on the Pro and Premium and LP because you get an upper playfield with advancement towards castle multi-ball. Some people don't like that you can stay up there as much, so they go for the Pro. Reminds me of The Walking Dead, where people prefer the Pro. A lot of them. The flow is nuts. The code is great. So many different approaches. We watched a lot of it at the Northern Kentucky Open recently. Eric's got one.
Mm-hmm.
Got the premium, or no, he's got the LE.
Right.
It was cool to watch, and I enjoyed playing it. In a pin golf tournament once, the target score was 1 billion, and now I know why. I'm gonna agree with you. I would almost put it in A, but I don't think it's. I'm looking at our A's, and I don't know if it hits that level. I'll pick John Wick next.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you the C. I don't think it's ready. The layout is.
I agree.
Yeah, the layout is fine. I think it's super cool what they're trying to do. Love the idea of AI generated scenarios where, the enemies are sort of adapting to your play style. It's just not there. The code is very shallow right now. And there's something about how it doesn't really explain what you need to do. Like, I don't know. I've learned you can cash out on modes, and I didn't realize you could do that. Getting as many shots as possible, but it could also be user error, player ignorance on my part. Tim Sexton, I think, is a great coder. Elliot Eisman, first design. I think it can get there. The idea of expression lighting, adapting like a shaker motor to gunfire is super cool. I'll give it a C.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for the game. I do really like the layout. We just got a premium on location, and the mechs are really cool with the physical ball locks. But yeah, I think it's got some room to improve, and I'm sure it'll get there.
I wish it would have kept the stand up on the dance room, because that just seems like such a thing for BOM wise, and I think that matters a lot. Not being there kind of reminds me of the dead post on the Pro and Foo Fighters, like the cutouts there. But oh man, it's a bummer they didn't include that. But I know you have to differentiate them. Ninja Turtles. And this is, Borg and Dwight. This one is tough because it is such a amazing theme, and I really love what they did, including all the characters, the modes. But it is hard for me to get into it. It's attorney. What are you doing? You're going Donatello, or some people choose Michelangelo for the balls. Donatello obviously will give you the easy access to multi-ball on the right ramp, I believe.
Turtle power, yep.
Yeah, and I've played it on my IRL streams on location. I put some time into it. And I don't know. I made an emote just for it. It's called Pinball Jail. It's an animated one. Pinball getting put behind bars. I want to give, and again, Dwight is one of my favorite coders. I want to, if I'm stretching it, it's a B. But in reality, I think people are going to put it in C. However, I don't know. I think the effort they put in it is there. It's just so hard to get a flow on it. The shots brick all the time for me. And I don't think it's because I'm a below average player. I just think figuring it out on each copy is hard. Whereas on a Godzilla, I can generally get that right ramp dialed in easily.
Yeah, and I think the scoring maybe has something to do with it, like mentally at least. It's like you play a multi-ball, especially that the turtle power one that you mentioned, the right ramp, and you come out with like 2 million points.
You're like,
where did all my points go?
This is not JGP Pirates. Like, I want to be rewarded, but you don't have to be like Attack from Mars where I get 1 billion for a skill shot. Like, I get it. Like,
right.
But the scoring, seeing it so low is sort of disheartening.
Right.
I
can agree with the maybe a strong C.
Yeah, let's do C.
That one.
I don't know. I feel like it's better than Wick right now, but Wick hasn't had time to get coded. There's something about dopamine hits when you get a high score that it sort of takes away from it. But you do earn when you get like 32 million. I think my highest is like 60 something. I know I got a good game.
Yeah, that's
There's
a great game.
There's that part of it. Let's do Mando. Go right into another
Another Dwight code.
yeah, Brian Eddy.
I have a bit of a soft spot for Mando because it was one of the first games I learned kind of the rules on. And they had so many on location around me that I was like, wherever I went, I was pretty much guaranteed playing a Mando. I would say light B.
I'm gonna give it a B too. I think this gets a lot of hate for some of the earlier code where you could just spam center loop. I know I haven't played the pro a lot. I really like what they premium. I don't know. I really like this game. I think it's just up. I don't like the upper play field as much, only in the sense of I don't know what it is. It's so short. Like it's not fun short like Jaws. I haven't played the premium yet on Jaws, but I've one or two shots. But like the proximity of the targets to kind of reminds me of the Family Guy and Shrek upper play field. But man, finding multi-ball into the mode or your mode into the multi-ball, excuse me, the satisfying shot of hitting that right 180 ramp is super fun. I don't know. I think this is a solid B. I know some people don't like it, but I don't agree with
I'm good with it.
it. Pick one.
Yeah. Let's go right into, is that Star Wars next to it?
Yep. Got about 9 left.
Sure. Star Wars. I think it's a fun game. It plays pretty fast. Another Steve Ritchie layout. I do love the premium that has that hyperloop. I think it's a really cool mech. Like it's reminiscent of like, Getaway, where just the ball just kind of loops around really quickly. And then it's got like the Death Star that explodes if you can get there. I think it's a strong B for me.
I'm going to agree. I just played it last week for a long time. It was a pro. I wish I had the hyperloop. It's just, it's got the math that I love as far as figuring out your multipliers. It's very confusing to a new player. So it's still confusing to me. But now I played it a bunch more. I really enjoy it. I love the way you can choose different characters and power-ups to begin with. I think having that sort of option is great, and I'm going to put it in B and lead with that. The Venom. You know me.
Okay.
You know I love Venom. He's my favorite character in the comic hobby. I know this pin has not set the world on fire. No, it's not a theme for everybody. But the ability to terraform your playfield on the premium and LE and change it at will by choosing different characters, you're not going to get an unbiased opinion here. It's an A for me. It's not S because I think I'm more of a traditional mode player, but I am not going to let myself choose the grade on this because I have such a affinity towards it. I recant. I would put it S for me just because of the theme, but I know that's not going to be for everybody. I get the counter arguments against it. The pro is barren to me. The mechs on the premium and LE are super cool. I love a dangly target like Mando. I'll let you pick our grade.
Okay. Howdy, don't hate me. I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay.
But I do. I mean, I think it's a fun shooter. I like the fan layout. And I do really like the theme. I think Venom's a great character. I do also like the progress carrying over. I think that's a great idea for Stern. I'm sure we're going to see it a lot more, in future games and future titles. It makes it way more accessible, I think, to the casual player, or even for like a home environment. I think it adds to the replayability a lot.
Yeah, and
Um,
surprisingly, they came out and said it's one of their highest earners. That RPG element is so key to bringing people back. People love
Yes.
roguelites. They love, like in Jaws right now, you collect shards, then trade them in for challenge mode attempts. On
Yep.
Wick, you have point levels already, and I think it did it so well. I understand why it was confusing to people at first because they have these lights, you don't know how to get to bosses, but it's got 6 boss battles. It's got a wizard mode reminiscent of something long and tough to get to if you do save progress. And that's another thing people realize. You can play it many different ways. You can play with save progress, and then I see why people will say, well, it's kind of getting boring because just trying to beat null with a high level. But if you do
Yep.
no save progress, try beating null then, and it becomes more of a traditional carrying over a lot harder in the Lintar multiplayer. So I'll agree with the B. I'm just going to let you say it because I would put it in A or S for B. Thank you, Dwight, for giving me Venom, Brian, Eddie, and Stern, whole team. Zombie Yeti, amazing art. I
Yep.
always say thank you for it. So let's go on
Hell yeah.
to another comic, Pin, Marvel Spider-Man.
Oh man,
And
I'm gonna be biased on this one because I think this is in my top 5 all time.
yeah, it's amazing. I'm not going to put it in F. I don't think
Yeah,
I
I
can put
agree
it
with
in
that.
S. I'm going to put it in A. This is
I think
one
it's a
of
strong A.
this is one of the best playing pins, and
Yep.
true to theme. There are so many fun moments. People love A World Under Glass, the shock magnet. The Venom shot is super satisfying. The audio sort of tenacity as far as Venom's voice. Everybody else, Sandman. I don't like the Sandman drops. That's the one thing. If I have to give a negative, I don't like the out there because there's some weird rejects. But man, it is tons of fun. And getting to superhero,
Yep.
I think, was one of the coolest moments for me because I know I earned it. I know there's a separate wizard mode. Whatever the first wizard mode is.
Is
That's
it
the
Battle
one.
Royale?
That's it. Sorry, superhero is
yep.
the last one. Get all the separate spider modes and do that. I'll let you talk about it more. Yeah, it's a high A.
Oh yeah. No, it's just we've had one location near me for as long as I can remember. It moved from one location to another, and it's always just been one of my favorite pins to play. It's from a beginner, from when I started playing, it's very approachable. I think it's and I also love that you can make progress towards everything all the time, right? So it's like, oh, let me bring in Doc Ock multi-ball into Black Suit multi-ball into, just destroying Sandman. Like it's just so good. Like another Steve Ritchie design, plays fast. The ramps are satisfying to hit. Like you said, that Venom side ramp is awesome.
Yeah.
Just everything about it. I love it.
I think that's something that I realize is a common theme in great pins is you're always earning something. Feel being locked out. Like if I had to take one thing away from Godzilla, I don't like Rampage mode. I hate being locked out. I understand the reason for it, but I hate being locked out. Not a traditional mode lock, but just sort of some side thing where I'm not able to progress anything else. You're not letting me count. Like on Jaws, it's interesting, and we can go into Jaws next, but like the last beachgoer, I guess, is locked out on certain things, certain modes.
Yep.
I understand why, but if I've earned progress up until something, I would like to be able to still collect things. It doesn't have to be everything. Allow me to ricochet progress on. So, yeah, I love that about Spider-Man. What do you think of Jaws? I will tell you right now, of all of Elwyn's pins, I have been most, I don't want to say underwhelmed, too negative. I think it's one of his easy pins. And I don't know what that's doing. I look at my average score on Jaws, and I understand where bringing in ideas. Flip lock, one of the coolest things for allowing you to mechanism save, flipper save, hold, cradle. That's the word I'm looking for. But I'm finding myself not challenged by it. I don't know if it's because of the layout. Definitely not because of the code. The code is phenomenal. Rick Nagel as with Geese done a phenomenal job.
Yep.
But I think the layout is giving me these that are just not tough and challenging. What are your thoughts?
I've really enjoyed Jaws. I know I think the code wasn't as fully cooked as it is now, on launch, but I think it's I think the layout's great. Like you said, I mean, a lot of the shots, I guess, do you kind of feed the flippers, right? Like going into an in lane, which may be what you're touching on a little bit. But I mean, I think feeding the mini flipper gives players a lot of choice. It also slows the game down a bit. I always kind of trap up and then let it drop into the in lane to kind of get a more controlled shot. But I think, I mean, like you said, the code's been great. Elizabeth's been super responsive online, and is very active on Discord and everything, and getting feedback. And
I hope she doesn't hate me because I keep asking questions. I'm like, hey, what's this? Why is this doing? Yeah, I think 4th of July is one of the more fun Wizard modes I played. The sounds. I do want to know, maybe someone will answer. Is the fireworks sound, what was it? I was asking this on stream. There's a sound it makes, I think in 4th of July or something, and I heard it in another pin. I'm like, did they use the same audio? I would put this at a strong B for me. I think it's all there. I also kudos to Keith Elwin for designing a Viking style outlane like platform to bump up on the come back into. That's such a great call out to a classic. I would put it as a strong B right now.
I would say strong B to light A for me.
I'm gonna put it in B.
Sure.
You pick the next.
Yeah. It looks like, is that Guardians on the far left? Guardians, I think, is good. Again, another game that I started playing early on when I first played competitively, because we had a few on location near me. I think it's maybe strong B, but I also can't help but think of Metallica when I think of Guardians.
Right.
And I just think Metallica is just a better game.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I can't dispute any of those points. Guardians is a blast from the go, and I think group multi-ball is one of my favorite multi-balls, just because it's fun trying to multiplier. My first experience with it was at one of the expos, the first expo I went to post-COVID, and it was in the tournament, the Stern tournament expo, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was watching players. And I love Cherry Bomb, the wizard.
Oh yeah.
Just because getting to it isn't as unobtainable as other wizard mode pins, because you don't have to do half the progress for 4 modes. I don't like the orb magnet release. I think everybody reminds me of the Ghostbuster shenanigans. I would put this at a B, and then Metallica at an A.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I will say, if you haven't tried this, or if you have a Guardians near you can play on, when I learned about the immolation strategy that I think it was Escher tried in the tournament, not tried, but obviously executed perfectly. I played it until I did that, and it was very satisfying to play.
It's the rocket shot. It was like War Machine on Iron Man. I don't know. It's got some cool stuff. I don't think it's worthy of more than a B. Metallica's definitely an A.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to say anything about Metallica that hasn't been said prior podcasts, but it's just it's just absolutely
so good.
Let's do Simpsons Pinball Party. Another Keith Johnson special. It is brutally tough to get to the final wizard mode. However, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that per se, as long as you make the journey fun. I've never been there. I don't think I'll ever get there. Kind of like one of the other pins on our list, Lord of the Rings. but the garage is satisfying to bash. I get annoyed when it pops out of Cletus on the left instead of going up top. It's got one of the coolest ball locks I've ever seen in a pin with the couch. The upper playfield is not annoying to me. And The Simpsons is a classic IP that I love, that most people do. I would put this at a high B, low A. Maybe not an A because of how tough it can be.
I agree. I think strong B is good for that pin.
What about Lord of the Rings? 4
Lord of
left.
the Rings. Yeah. Another Gomez pin. The only one I have experience playing on is the one that they had at Mom's Organic Market out in Maryland that closed recently. But I always enjoyed playing it. I think it's a great layout. Fun shots to hit. Obviously it's a very deep game to get to Valinor, but I think it's a strong B to light A.
Yeah, I help us push this. I think it's better than Simpsons
Sure.
Pinball Party. I think Destroying the Ring is just a moment in pinball people will always remember. The code is tough, but the layout isn't dynamic, like not gonna have a ton of stuff, but getting the ball rog to I'm gonna push it to
Yep.
A for us, and then we've got 3 left. I'll let you talk
Okay.
about Iron Maiden.
I mean, Iron Maiden, I think, is clear S tier for me. It's Elwin pin for Elwin's first design with Stern. Obviously it was originally Archer, but I think I wasn't a huge fan of the band, and then I got the pin, and now I just, sometimes I'll just listen to Iron Maiden when I'm like driving in my car. Incredible game. I mean, the layout's amazing. The shots are all satisfying. Keith Owens is all about kinetic satisfaction, and this game brings it in droves. It's I don't know. I could talk about this game for a while, but do you have anything to add?
I'm gonna do you trade. I'm gonna give you
Sure.
Iron Maiden as an S because I don't think it's an S. Probably of his pins. It's the trade off for me with Avengers, but I'm gonna give
Okay.
Maiden an S because I understand the argument for it and I love playing it. But of all his pins, it's not my favorite. But I'm gonna move Walking Dead then to the S tier.
That's fair. I think it's fair.
I think that's the trade. If we're gonna do one trade of each, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Sure.
I agree with Maiden. I think the way they approached this music pin in quotes was awesome. Making a music pin have some sort of story to it, tied into the band's lore, is super cool. Even though I'm pretty sure Foo Fighters have some sort of thing with aliens. That's why they chose it. But that is going above and beyond making just a traditional music pin, and I think that's why people gravitate towards Maiden 2, because there's so much creativity and the shots. Shooting a ramp through the pops or a cornerstone shot on a pin, like Congo's right ramp, Whitewater, is very. It can piss me off, but it's also very satisfying. So the left ramp on Maiden, super fun. It's always intense, and I love it. I think it's a great pin. It's not my favorite Elwin, but I'm gonna put it S tier with you. We've got 2 left. Let's do Stranger Things with Brian Eddy. Yeah. I think this is one pin that had negative reactions on the code at launch. I own one now, and I'm glad I bought it. So fun to me. And the unofficial Cleveland code is great. It's just it's a journey and a half. I can't get enough of it. I would put this as a strong A.
I would agree. I think A tier is good. I think it's a great tournament game. Good fan layout. You can really blow it up and combo the shots together, and it's a fun game for me too. IP is great.
Yeah, it reminds me of Guardians, where if you focus on getting your multiplier up, it'll matter because your bonus multiplier is huge if you've done a few things, and then you see your score is like 37 million on a bonus, and then times 3.
Oh yeah.
Hello, I've got 37 times 3, which is 111 million, and that's more than people's all 3 balls. Strong A, and last one is Tron. Go.
Yeah. Another board design. I love this game. I think the layout's great. Another game where you can really get into a flow state and combo a lot of shots together. Get those end of line jackpots. Feels really good. I would say strong A for this for me.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. There's a reason you see it in all the tournaments. People clamoring for a remake, especially with LCD assets. I get it. I totally get it. So I'm going to review our list, and that will be it for our first inaugural episode of Wizards and Warriors. In our S tier, we have Godzilla, Jurassic Park, Iron Maiden, Walking Dead. In our A tier, we have Foo Fighters, James Bond, the recent one, Black Knight, Sword of Rage, Batman 66, Avengers, Infinity Quest, Deadpool, Spider-Man, Metallica, Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, Tron. In our B tier, we have Bond 60th, AC/DC, Star Trek Stern, Ripley's Believe It or Not, Kiss, Batman Dark Knight, Iron Man, Led Zeppelin, Ghostbusters, Rush, Elvira's, House of Horrors, Game of Thrones, Mandalorian, Star Wars, Venom, Jaws, Guardians of the Galaxy, Simpsons Pinball Party. C tier, WrestleMania, Mustang, Aerosmith, Avatar, Munsters, Monopoly, Roller Coaster Tycoon, X-Men, The Beatles, Family Guy, Shrek, High Roller Casino, Avengers, NASCAR, Sopranos, John Wick, Turtles. Our D tier, Striker Extreme, Grand Prix, Harley Davidson, The Rolling Stone, Sharky Shootout, 24, NBA, Austin Powers, World Poker Tour, Bonelli, CSI, Elvis, Transformers, Playboy, Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones, and Big Buck Hunter Pro. That will do it, folks. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still here with us, we thought we were gonna go. We thought we were gonna go 90 minutes. It is almost 3 hours, but you know what? We got to cut a little. I got to cut a little bit out for some tech issues, but it was a lot of fun. Thank you, Joe. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I had a blast, Hottie. This is great. I think moving forward, we can hopefully get some more, a lot of great more pinball content to sift through, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from a lot of you soon.
Yeah, it was fun. Again, this is going to be our tourney-focused, competitive pinball-focused podcast. We'll do some fun games like this with the tier lists. And other than that, thank you so much for joining us. This should be up on all your podcasting resources. I do want to say if you need to reach out to Joe or myself, mine is Friscopinball on all socials. Catch me on Twitch. Joe is JLand, JL4ND. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining Wizards and Warriors. We'll talk to you all later.
The lights are flashing, the bells are ringing. I step up to the table, my heart is singing. The crowd is watching, the tension is high. I'm ready to play, it's time to defy it. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multi-ball madness, it's target light. Uppers and flippers, we're in control. Pinball wizards, we got the soul. Ball rolling, chasing the light. People fingers dancing, the arcades alive. But flippers respond to my every command. In the pinball kingdom, I make my stand. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multi-ball madness, it's our delight. Uppers and flippers, we're in control.